Baker's over 75.8 completion percentage on third down. Amazing statistics. Amazing. What, 76% completion percentage on third down? That's a gimme. I mean, how much more does Baker Mayfield have to prove? Are you Bucs fans buying in now? Are you buying into this quarterback who to me is young still? What, he's 28 years old, 29 years old? How many offensive coordinators? How many coaches? We talked about it. Grit. He showed it. He showed it on multiple third downs, going and putting his head down, getting it on second down. When you need big chunks of yardage, you can't find anybody. Instead of trying to force the ball or throw the ball away, I'm taking off. I'm being decisive. That's the kind of quarterback he's been this year. And when it comes to third down, you need a big play. Devin Tompkins on that drive, that last drive. Chris Godwin for 42 yards. Perfect pass. Perfect. going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. How do we start off this show on a creamsicle throwback week for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers in first place in the NFC South? I never get tired of saying it. Versus the Detroit Lions. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, I have my co-host, Mr. Harry the Greek, in the building, giving out his picks as he always does here. He's going out of town, so we're going to get some picks from him. We'll also have the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. And then after that, we will have the very favorite Turnbuckle Talk coming back here with Mr. Mark Mancini of Mancini Media. And, of course, Ralph Williams, newest Pittsburgh personality. And, of course, your phone calls. It's been a little while, hasn't it? It's been busy here. Been working for, of course, the J.P. Peterson Show as a co-host and executive producer. Haven't gotten a chance to do Mondays. Haven't gotten a chance to do Wednesdays. But everything is going back to normal next week because JP is moving to Friday there at the patio. So get out there. If you're in the Tampa Bay area, I believe 421 McDill, South McDill Avenue. So come out there. I'll be hosting that. But Monday and Wednesday nights, we will be back taking your phone calls, and just confirmed from Tampa Bay Buccaneer communication staff, I will be out there once again with the J.P. Peterson Show for your post-game edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television live from Raymond James Stadium after the game. So there you go. Is there a post-game show out there with phone calls on the field? No, I don't think so. There isn't. There's only one. It's right here. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, it's the same number. Again, if you didn't get it, I'll go ahead and tell you again. I feel like saying that other number. There is no other number. It's just one number, 727-255-0391. We came in with the Baker Mayfield reel. Do you believe in Baker Mayfield now? Yes or no? It's very simple. Tell me why you don't believe in Baker Mayfield, or tell me why you do believe in Baker Mayfield. Of course, the captain's name today for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers: Baker Mayfield, Chris Godwin, Antoine Winfield Jr., Mike Evans, Vita Vea, Tristan Wirfs, and Levante David. Any surprises? Do you like the picks? How do you like them against the Lions? Is that a tough matchup for you? We'll definitely preview tonight. We'll talk about some of those matchups. We'll talk about the week that was the NFL, the National Football League, which means not for long, as your Bucs were on a bye week. What did you do on your bye week? If you don't want to talk football, that's fine. We can talk about your hockey team, which, by the way, had a 5-3 opening night win over who? The Nashville Predators. If you want to talk some hockey, of course, the Rays are done. Don't know if you knew that. So no need to talk about them, right? Unless, of course, they increase salary, which is the talk. They may run it back to $120 million. Wow, that would be amazing, huh? And then going back to it, we'll have Turnbuckle Talk. You like professional wrestling talk? You had WWE last night, NXT. You had The Undertaker. You had John Cena. You had LA Knight. What did you watch? Did you watch that? Or did you watch AEW with Edge, Luchasaurus, Bryan Danielson? The big rumor right now, CM Punk is not coming to WWE. Do you believe that or not? We'll get into that about 10 o'clock. So without further ado, I see him right there. In the back room. Let's go ahead and get his walk-up music on. Here we go. Former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports, and of course, we will be together, reunited, and it feels so good on Saturday afternoon covering your USF Bulls. As they try to pick up their fourth win versus FAU. Mr. Leo Haggerty, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend, on a Wednesday night. It's been a long time. I mean, I just saw you today, but on the sports web, it's been a long time. How you doing, bud?
Hey, Peter.
Yes.
I'm doing real well. Look at my shirt.
Well, I tell you right now, and I think that's probably the biggest shock because everybody thought that Baltimore was a shoo-in. No, not necessarily. They're done. Congratulations to the hated on this show Texas Rangers, who continue to piss in the Cheerios of the Tampa Bay Rays. They've done that throughout their history. And then, of course, you talk about the Philadelphia Phillies as they won tonight. And the Atlanta Braves, Major League Baseball's best team, is on the brink of elimination. Your thoughts? Congratulations to the Phillies. We'll see if they can close it out. I know you got lots to talk about. Go ahead, Mr. Legend Leo Haggerty.
Oh, Peter, it should be closed out now. Think about it. I don't think the Braves had a lead other than one inning. Maybe tonight they were up 1-0 for an inning or two, and they went up 5-4 in the eighth. But other than that, they've been chasing the Phillies, and that's not a good thing. Atlanta's ballpark is not really, a house of horrors for anybody. That's
right.
Really strange. But I'll tell you what, Citizens Bank, you go up to Philly, man, oh man, that's a home field advantage for sure.
Well, and it comes down to superstars, and right now Bryce Harper performing very well. That's the reason why you pay him the big time money. That's the reason we continue to talk about this with the Rays, going back to it, and then we'll get into the Bucs in a moment because I'm expecting my co-host there, Mr. Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire of this show. What do you make of the Rays situation? First, were you surprised that they were eliminated? And second, do you think they can run it back with spending an excess of $100 million, $120 million? Do you buy that, or do you think there's going to be some pieces there, namely a Tyler Glasnow making $25 million that may be traded after all?
God, I hope not. Peter, Joe Madden hit the nail on the head. 90% of this game is pitching. The other 10% is pitching.
Pitching.
So, you got to get a full season out of Glasnow and McClanahan. You got to find a way to do that. And again, I don't know what they're doing wrong over there, or it's just the baseball gods not smiling on them.
Yeah.
But you can't have pitchers keep going down at the rate they are across the bridge in St. Petersburg. They got to be able to stick around, and they got to be able to pitch because look at what's going on down in Texas. I mean, they got pitching, and that pitching shows up. Right now, the Rays, they don't have pitching because it's all on the shelf. It's a shame.
Right. It is a shame. All right, we got to go out to the comments here. Shayna Honeycombs, you owe me Wi-Fi. Thanks a lot for tuning in. What she's talking about, she's on a plane coming from Houston to Tampa, so appreciate you tuning in there. Ball and Baker, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. We'll get back to him in a moment. You know I'm right. Hey, Pete, what's going on? Lines will be another measuring stick test. Hope they learned their lesson from the last one. And Christopher Cole says Texas swept Baltimore. More surprised by that Baltimore got swept because everybody said Baltimore was one of the top teams, and they were during the regular season. But once again, it shows you what baseball's, playoff format, that really the regular season doesn't mean squat.
Well, Peter, what matters is do you have people that have been in the postseason? Texas has.
Yep.
Baltimore, this was all the first time for those guys.
Yeah.
And you know what? If they get back next year, it'll be a whole different animal because they'll know what to expect. I mean, think about this, Peter. The AL East, 0-7 in the playoffs. That's amazing.
That is amazing. You're exactly right. The Rays, 0-2. Baltimore, 0-3. And, of course, the Toronto Blue Jays, 0-2. Amazing stuff there. Jim Melvin says Braves and Phils aren't over yet. You're exactly right. And Dodgers.
Stick a fork in the Braves. They're done, guys.
And the Christopher Cole says Dodgers are on the brink tonight, and that's another amazing story in itself. With that being said, Baker Mayfield, speaking of amazing, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Give me your Leo Haggerty analysis here on Mr. Ballin Baker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year so far.
You see me patting myself on the back, Peter?
I do see you patting yourself on the back. You and Harry are good at that. I almost feel like on Sunday I had to do that with Harry many times. I had like burping him like a baby. Like every time he said something, you're right, Harry. Absolutely. Pat yourself on the back. But absolutely, you deserve nothing but patting yourself on the back, especially with the prediction. And I said this on the show. I felt like he could have a turnaround, much like Geno Smith. And sure enough, he was talking about it on the Pat McAfee show last week, how it goes back to his Oklahoma days. It's a great fit. The Buccaneers are a great organization. He has weapons here in Godwin and Evans. But give me your impressions of Mr. Mayfield.
Peter, one word, healthy.
Yeah.
Again, I said, if the Baker Mayfield who went to Cleveland is healthy, and remember, he took Cleveland. Folks, listen to that now. Cleveland went to the playoffs, went to Pittsburgh, and destroyed the Steelers at Heinz Field, which is now Akish or some field, whatever.
Right.
Then one play away from knocking off Kansas City. I said, if that Baker Mayfield shows up, he's a pretty darn good quarterback. And you know what, Peter? Everybody talked about there was a competition.
Sure.
There really wasn't. And here's why. Because of their offensive line, they had to go with the guy who gave them a chance to extend plays. Now, Trask, that's not his style. He's a guy who can cross back, hits that 5th step, steps up, throws a football. Hits that 7th step, steps up, throws a football. Look at all the plays Mayfield has made a cappella, basically with the line caving in around him. And the New Orleans game was a perfect example. The Minnesota game was a perfect example. He made some with his feet. Trask wasn't going to do that. And it's not that Trask is not a good player.
Right.
He just doesn't fit right now with that offensive line, who's still a work in progress.
It really is. And you mentioned the offensive line, Luke Gedeke. I thought, he was under the microscope this year. He performed well versus that big mouth Cam Jordan, shut him up. And Tristan Wirfs, not only named a captain today, but honestly, the best left tackle in the league. Did you ever foresee this happening with him going from the right side to a transition to the left side? We talked about his wrestling background. We knew how great he was as a right tackle, but I think he's actually better as a left tackle. Surprised by that?
Peter, when I saw him jump out of the pool, I cannot believe that every general manager and scout didn't go, oh my God, this guy is the most athletic offensive tackle we've ever seen. That's close to a 300-pound man jumping out of a 4-foot water pool. I mean, wait a second. Run that by me again, because that doesn't happen, that type of athleticism. Peter, I thought he'd have a little bit of problem only putting that left hand down in the dirt instead of the right hand, but he is so athletic. I think he could play center, guard, or tackle. He'd probably play tight end if you needed him. He's that athletic.
I'll tell you what, let's go out to the phone lines here. Open phone lines tonight. Ed leading it off here on the Evolution. What's on your mind after your Bucs, of course, are getting ready for the Lions in the Creamsicle Week? Your thoughts?
Is the NFL going to investigate Cam Jordan on the hit on Baker Mayfield? Because that was dirty.
What did you think about that? Because that did look like a dirty hit, and it was high and low. Was it Cam Jordan on that hit? Because I thought it was somebody else. But what did you think about that dirty hit by the Saints, and why wasn't somebody called or somebody thrown out of the game? Because it certainly seemed like it could warrant that. What did you say, Leo?
If he was straight up, Peter, yes. But once you start contorting your body and changing the plane, then it becomes hard because these guys are trying to hit you between the stomach and the shoulder pads. You don't have a whole lot to hit. And again, let's go back to Atlanta last year, which probably was the worst roughing the passer call in the world on Tom Brady by the Falcons. And again, as Ron Jaworski said on the show the other night, Peter, almost every hit on me is now illegal. And if he was straight up in the air and someone wasn't around his legs, then that's a hit that you'd have to look at again. But once these guys, the game's not played in slow motion. They shouldn't be allowed to review hits in slow motion because that's not how the game is played.
Yeah, absolutely. Stand by, Ed. We got Ed on the line here. Whomever is calling, stay on hold here. We'll come back to you in a moment, okay?
Gotcha.
Stand by. All right. I think that is Eric. So Eric is on the line. Let me go back out to Ed here. Ed, are you there? Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Ed, are you there? Swap. Okay, let's swap. All right. Ed, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll go ahead and get out to Harry in a moment. I see you in the back room there, my friend. Let me ask you this. Do you believe in Baker right now? And what do you expect from the Lions on Sunday? And then we got to run. You can use that second call if you want to. But give me your thoughts on that.
A couple things. And one more thing about that hit.
Okay.
It looked to me it was more late than just being a dirty hit. It looked like it was a late hit. I think he already had the ball out of his hands.
Right.
Before he threw that ball.
Correct.
Before he was hit.
I think you're right about that. Absolutely.
Yeah. But why that wasn't called, I don't have any idea. But we'll set that aside for a minute. What do I think about Baker? I think he's doing a wonderful job. The kid's got a lot of heart, and I'm glad we got him over Carr because the Carr experiment is not working out for the Saints, and I don't see it working out for the Saints for obvious reasons. He's got a bum shoulder and all.
Worked pretty good last week.
Yeah, worked against the Patriots, but that's a disaster in itself. But you're exactly right. The offense has not necessarily been so consistent. Let's see what they do this week and going forward there with Carr. Great stuff, Ed. Appreciate the call. Anything else here on the Sports Web?
My prediction for the Lions game is the Bucs defense shows up like it did against the Saints. They'll win. That's it.
All right, man. Appreciate the call, Ed. Thank you very much. Let me get out to hold on, Eric. Stand by. Let me get to my co-host here. Here we go. Professional handicapper extraordinaire of the Sports Web and also a guest on the JP Peterson Show. That segment called You Bet Your Ass. And if you do bet your ass, you're definitely winning lots of money. Let me go out to Mr. Harry the Greek there. 35-11, my friend. Go ahead and pat yourself on the back. Welcome to the Sports Web. Harry, how you doing tonight?
Really good. Good evening, gentlemen. Leo, you too, sir. How you been?
I'm having a great day, Harry. Just did JP's show and then got on a Zoom with the USF and taught my class out at UT on the theory of coaching football, and now I'm on with the hardest working guys in Tampa Bay.
I appreciate that. I tell you what, let's go out to our phone lines. Eric, waiting so patiently. What's on your mind tonight? Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
What's going on, guys? Big week. Bucs Lions. Probably the biggest game of the year. Maybe game of the year.
Wow, game of the year. Why do you say that? Go ahead and expound on that a little bit. Game of the year. Why is that?
They counted the Bucs. Hey, they said that we were going to be the worst team in the league. And we're 3-1. The Lions are 4-1.
Mm-hmm. So you see this as a measuring stick game for you. So you feel like if you don't beat the Lions, and that talk and that chatter from the outside will say, well, the Bucs can only defeat mediocre teams. Is that what you're saying?
Kind of.
Okay.
But I mean, I think it's gonna be a good game.
Okay. What do you expect out of it? What do you think about Baker Mayfield? Do you believe in Baker Mayfield? And what do you think about the captains that were named today? Mayfield, Godwin, Winfield Jr., Evans, Vita Vea, Wirfs, and Levante David.
They all deserve it.
Okay.
They're great. They're great players. I think we have like a plus 7 turnover ratio, so which is good for like second in the league. So keep that up, and I think we can win 10, 11 games.
All right.
Just get the turnovers and
You got your creamsicle ready?
Yeah, I got my Winfield.
Okay. All right. Winfield Jr. All right. Thanks a lot, Eric, for the call. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Use that second call if you like, my friend, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Always welcome here on the Sports Web. Just because we got guests on doesn't necessarily mean you can't call up. I don't care what they're looking like. This is my show. This is how it goes. We take calls 727-255-22
Peter, I've got breaking news.
What do we got?
I will be joining you Sunday in the press box.
Oh, really?
Just came through.
Well, I tell you right now, you deserve it. You should be out there. And I tell you right now, once you get done with the press conference, why don't you join me on the Sports Web? I got an extra mic for you. How about that?
Hey, Peter, twist my arm. Hold on. That's good. I'm there.
All right. Sounds good. So there you go. Post game with yours truly, JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show. And, of course, the legend himself, Leo Haggerty. Now, let's get down to it, fellas. Harry, we talked about the Saints game, I believe. Your thoughts on naming the captain today. What do you like out of that? And especially Baker Mayfield. Go ahead and pat yourself on the back because you said before the season started, this was the best quarterback pick. And you know what? Harry the Greek, you've heard this a lot during this season, and you're going to probably hear a lot of it after the season. You were right again.
Oh, Leo, can you say it too?
Harry, the funny thing is, I'm kind of with you with my NFL picks. I'm 14-1 on the money line. So yeah.
Ooh, money line.
Hey,
That's
Harry, both of us at the same time. You ready? Little pat on the back.
Little pat on
There
the
you
back.
go.
Hey, Leo, out of the 35 wins, did you know that 18 of them are underdogs on the money line?
Nice.
Let me repeat that. Money line underdogs.
Harry, you had to have the New Orleans Saints as your top pick last week as an underdog against the pitiful Patriots.
Actually, I didn't have one of my better weeks last week. And I actually took the New England Patriots, believe it or not. I'm very sorry for that bad pick. But you know what? My top two picks got there, and one of them were the New York Jets on the road in Denver on the money line as an underdog. The other one, I think it was the Bears in the first half. Could I be wrong? Oh, and the over? God almighty sakes. But you know what? Since we're going to be doing a little segment between 9:30 and 10, and Leo, I really hope you can hang out and talk about the over-under, and we can start talking about some games. I don't know if that interests you or not. But, man, I want to put one game to bed. The Detroit Lions are invading Tampa Bay this week.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit is a 3-point favorite. You know what their head coach said? Hey, you don't have to look very far. We're going to be on your front porch. Well, hurry up and get your ass down here to Tampa, because Tampa at home with this defense and getting 3 points, you could take Tampa on the money line this week. Detroit does go down. They do lose this week.
Wow, there you go. So good stuff by Harry the Greek. Is that how you see the game, Leo? What are the biggest challenges that the Lions present to this Buccaneer team, especially when it comes to offense with Jared Goff?
And you know what, guys? This is not your grandfather's or your father's Detroit Lions. What Dan Campbell has done up there is
really
phenomenal.
Good. Oh, absolutely.
And what he's done is he's gotten tough between the tackles on both sides of the football. They are almost impossible to run against. They are almost impossible to stop the run against. This team is I know the Eagles' offensive line was tough. These guys rate right up there with them. And the Buccaneers have to stop the run. They have to. I don't care what they need to do. They need to put 6, 7, 8 in the box. Make Jared Goff throw the ball. But if the Lions run the ball, it's a long afternoon for the creamsicles.
You know what? I got to agree with Leo on that, but I'm going to tell you why I wanted to take Tampa, because I was waiting for an opinion like that. Detroit right now is really hurting in their secondary. And yes, they do run the football. Dave Montgomery is just ripping the cover off the ball. And that's almost a baseball analogy.
Very nice.
But that's where Tampa is going to excel at, is stopping the run. And they're going to force Jared Goff into some ill-advised passes. This matchup really sets up well, just like last week's matchup. The week before, when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had went up to New Orleans, and they were also an underdog. This is a very, very similar type of game. The difference is Tampa's going to be playing from the lead in this game. And
Boy,
I have
Harry,
them jumping up to about it. Go ahead.
You're hitting the nail on the head there. They better get the lead, because
they're going to get the lead in the first quarter.
Got to get the lead. Yep. You're exactly right.
And they're going to try to run the football. And Detroit is really bad against the play action pass. Those safeties and corners bite every single time. And that is Dan Campbell's biggest mistake. Extremely aggressive on defense. He loves to send the kitchen sink at you, especially for questionable offensive lines, which the Buccaneers have. But when you have the 1, 2, 3-step drops, bang and throw, this is where you're going to catch them sleeping. Look for some big plays, often and early for the Buccaneers. Look for Detroit to get into a little bit of a funk, especially on defense, and look for an early 10-point lead by Tampa. And get this, Leo, I'm predicting because Tampa is going to force them into an early passing game that they're going to get 2 picks in this game.
Nice.
I like it. I like it a lot. I'll tell you what, let's go back out to the comments here from the webheads. Christopher Cole says, how bad are the Patriots? Laugh out loud. Jim says, dirty or not, it's amazing he wasn't hurt. Let's go out to Tom Banner. Lions got a solid team.
What's up, Tom? Little shout out to my boy Tom Banner.
Yep. Harold, Jets money line last week was a simple pick.
Hey, that's big money there, bro.
It is. No chance Lions lose, Harold. Tom says Bears should have kept Montgomery. Stupid move by Poles. I mean, let's talk really, about Tom. Him.
Hindsight's 20/20, honestly,
right.
guys. I mean, right now, Montgomery would really look good in a Bears uniform. But let's be honest, they didn't want to pay him. He didn't fit the scheme. Tom, Peter, Leo, we all know that he fit the scheme. But they didn't like him because he didn't fit the scheme.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. And I think that the GM in Chicago has finally had enough of the nonsense of going, I know you didn't draft him. He may not fit your scheme, but fit their scheme. And that's now what they're doing with Justin Fields, hence the reason why he's leading the National Football League in touchdown passes. Look, I was jumping on the bandwagon. I was ready to throw it in. But when finally Ryan Poles has turned around and talked to this management and said, hey, guys, you better fit a game plan and let him play football, now you're seeing a different team that could actually start getting some momentum. But going back to why the Bears let Montgomery go, it was a mistake. But really, was it? They didn't really want to pay him the money. They have serviceable backs. I understand, Tom, that Khalil Herbert is hurt right now, but don't forget, they got a really heck of a good running back that came out of Carolina. Look him up because he's going to run for over $1 in this game.
We'll see. Let's go back out to KR. Evening, guys, and go Bucs. Absolutely, go Bucs.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Let's go out to Jim. Lions' biggest weakness is how they react if things don't work out well early. Agree with that assessment by Jim. Thanks a lot for tuning in, by the way, Jim. New, it seems like a new webhead here. So do you guys agree with that?
Yes.
The comment? Okay, why?
Well, it just doesn't really work out for them. That's why I'm predicting if it doesn't work out for them and they jump out to, if they're down by 10 points, especially in the first half, it's going to force them to do stuff they don't want to do. The Lions, everything goes through the running game. And he does panic a little bit. And the other thing that I don't like about their defense is they're over aggressive and they don't need to be. They have a defensive line that just needs to rush for. This team blitzes more than anybody in the National Football League. Tom, I read your comment. Put down the crack pipe. Just read what the odds are right there. Just read it. 35-11. There's a reason for it, Tom. There's something that I see in this game, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Not you. Let's go out to the Chicago connection here. Travis Fraley of Rocket Sports.
Travis.
Welcome to the Sports Web. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek and, of course, the legend himself, Leo Haggerty. Go.
Hey, guys. Well, thanks for taking my call. And Leo, good to see you, pal. Always a pleasure seeing you on air, keeping these two guys in check.
Yes.
And I'm going to have to bring a hockey stick in soon.
Hey, I tell you, the game last night was really exciting. What a fantastic opener for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Absolutely.
You know what, Travis? I hate to interrupt you real quick, but Harry, the Blackhawks down 2-0 and get 4 in a row. Is that a new team out in Chicago?
Look, they're another year and a half behind. If they didn't get rid of Panarin and DeBrincat, can you imagine being with Patrick Kane 2.0 with this kid Connor Bedard? What are you kidding me? That would have been sick. Unbelievable is an understatement. What he did in the Pittsburgh game, he looked like a kid in a candy store. He didn't get a goal, but he got the assist. But against Boston, they're losing 2-1 tonight. He's got 4 shots on goals or 5 shots on goals, and he's already got a goal. I mean, the kid, he's a stud. But no, they may make the playoffs. They're not going anywhere. There are a lot of players away, but they're pretty impressive right now.
Go ahead, Travis.
Hey, Harry, they'll be able to go out in free agency in the next year or so, and Bedard is already must-see. I don't know about already, but he's going to be must-see TV, and it's going to put asses in the seats for many years because he's that kind of special talent. But hey, Harry, you must be on some kind of roll because you definitely threw out some ducats for that fancy shirt you're kicking today.
Oh, stop, man. I got this a couple of years ago. These rags, are you serious? These rags?
I know this is not a Chicago Bears show, but my
buddies
my buddies over here are Bears fans. Let me ask you, Travis, really quick, and then we'll get back to the Bucs game. Do you think they have righted the ship after the big win over the Commanders last Thursday night?
I don't know. They're carrying some momentum. And, I was with Harry. I still think Tyler Bagent is the quarterback for this offense. If they were going to run the offense that they were trying. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
You look at it's all in Getsy at this point, what he does with that team and the health of the offensive line. In spurts, if Tevin Jenkins can stay healthy, I mean, you saw what was going on in the Washington game, Harry. The fact that, half the starting line went out again. So, it starts and stops with that. It's the old adage. It's the old football adage. You get it on the defensive line, you get it on the offensive line. That's
Travis, love you like a brother. Word out of Chicago is that the Bears management has had enough. They've had enough, and they says you better make it work. That's it. You better make it work. And it wasn't just that, because you remember before the Washington game, people already had the entire team getting fired if they would have lost to Washington. Yep. And the thing is they had a little checkup for the neck up and said, you know what? Stop tailoring the players to your game plan. Tailor your game plan to your players. Okay.
And that's it. It should have been. That's the way it should have been. They should have figured out already, Harry. But
it hasn't been like that. That's why they got rid of David Montgomery, because he didn't fit the narrative or the game plan for them. Are you kidding me? How in the world can an organization be so stupid?
Well, they're thinking that, David Montgomery's a smash-mouth football player, and they want to run that wide zone. So it's, hey, he's not going to fit. He wants more money. Let's work around it. I like Herbert, and I love Roschon Johnson. I saw him bang some heads the other day, and I'm like, man, that's got to be a concussion, and it was. So let's hope that doesn't lead to more for the young man.
And you know what? You have two very similar style of running backs, except David Montgomery is a little bit more of an elusive runner, and he's got a little bit more top end speed. But he also is that stick your foot in the ground, get it up the middle, hit the hole, and run. Chicago doesn't even run a lot of 11-man personnel. So how in the world could David Montgomery not fit that particular offense? Is still going to be befuddle me. But it was also a curse, but yet a blessing. And the blessing is they are going to open up the playbook and say, hey, Justin, we're not going to let you sit in the pocket. I mean, the first 2 games of the season, I'm sorry, guys, I just got to say it. I watched 7 plays against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers where there were wide receivers wide open. He's staring at them like this. And it's like, I can't throw the ball. I mean, it was the most ridiculous thing I've seen. But the moment they rolled him out of the pocket, and by the way, they only called 2 rollouts for him in the entire game. They roll him out. All of a sudden, the field gets shorter for him, and he can actually see the field. Justin wants to look at the first, second, third, fourth receiver, the guy in the stands, and hang on, I want to take a look, see what the coach is doing. I want to look at the water boy over there, and then he's getting clobbered. Now he's not holding on to the ball as much because he's looking at his first read, his second read, and if it's not there, he's taking off. That's it. And that is the difference.
Harry, sometimes I wonder, and we've used this term before in the past, the brain for the game. I've seen the guy. It seems like he's getting it a little bit more the last couple of weeks of, throwing the ball out of bounds instead of taking the stupid sack when he's up by the sideline. And you're absolutely right. I was at the Bears-Bucs game, and he had wide receivers wide open all game long. And it was pitiful what was going on.
And he was looking at them. It's not like he didn't see them. He was staring at them going, I don't know. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What were you doing? And the word out of Chicago is Poles has given an ultimatum even from above, and it says, you better make this work.
Well, they better make it work at this point, and we'll see how it goes here in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully they can carry on that momentum for your guys' sake. But Travis, you've seen this Lions team. Go ahead and give me the concerns. And do you think this Bucs team can beat the Lions on the strength of Baker Mayfield, who has been the story of this team right now. 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Is he the key versus this improved Lions defense?
Stopping Aiden Hutchinson is the biggest part of this whole game.
Okay.
Because if he can get after Mayfield and actually stop him, not like Ngakoue wasn't stopping. I mean, Ngakoue had Baker Mayfield in the Bears game dead to the rights numerous times, and Baker was able to put some magic together and get out from being sacked for considerable losses. And obviously, you know how that game played out. So stopping that Detroit Lions defensive line, I think, is first and foremost. And I do think the Bucs have a good opportunity against that Detroit secondary to, put some points on the board. I think Harry's definitely right in that, and I think Leo's right also.
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned about the offense because the weapons on the outside there. You got Gibbs. He's a little bit banged up, but he may play in this game. The receiver Brown, I'm not going to try to say his first name. Forget it. Even Reynolds last week in his absence, stood out. And they also have the kid out of Iowa, Laporta there, who's been impressive.
Nice.
They definitely have some weapons, and their defense has improved. And I think somebody said this about their linebackers. Let's see here about Campbell. Do you see him as a weakness, Leo, Travis, and Harry, where the Bucs could maybe expose that with the wide receivers or possibly the running back out of the backfield against that young linebacker and Jack Campbell from Iowa?
Yeah, it's all about pre-snap and setting up and formation. Mm-hmm. You can formation a defense where they're going to have to play man and they're going to have to latch on a linebacker to one of your running backs, which is great. And again, when you go 13 package and you got 3 wideouts and you put that 3-by-1 to one side and you put a wide receiver on the other side like Godwin, it takes away the double team, which is what that 13 does, that 3-by-1. So it's just. My concern, guys, is Mike Evans still hasn't participated in practice.
He has not. He has not. Absolutely has not participated. Did not participate today. Looks like they may get back Jamel Dean. Kalijah Cansey coming off the calf injury. They may get him back. That'll help that defensive line rotation. Travis, anything else here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend? Because we're about to get some picks here early in the process because Harry is about to go out of town, so he's going to try to make you some money. Anything else?
Where's Harry going out of town? Is that what's going on now? He's winning all these picks and he's going on vacation? What's going on?
No, he's not going on vacation. He's staying one step ahead of the posse.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And I heard a rumor he may be going up to Kentucky. And I know the reason why, if you know what I'm talking about there. Maybe a little horse track action there, Harry the Greek? Yeah, you see him right there rubbing his hands together. He's getting ready to make some money here. So
Money Mitch, baby. Money Mayfield. Here we go.
You and that Money Mitch thing, Johnny Manziel called. He wants his signal back there. All right, Travis. Anything else, bud?
No, we're good, man. I'll keep listening and watching. Thanks for doing a great show, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on and let me spit some knowledge, some knowledge chicklets at you. How about that?
Love it. Travis's hot takes. Bam, boom, right there. Good stuff. Use that second call if you like to, okay?
Thanks, brother.
All right, good stuff there. Travis Feely of Rocket Sports and Entertainment. We want to do some picks, but before we do that, I want to get out to the webheads. Don't want to neglect them. Open phone line also, 727-255-0391. Let's go out to KR. It's throwback week, baby. Absolutely. KR says, what's crazy that Coach Campbell doesn't even use their top draft pick over Montgomery. What was the point of drafting him? Gibbs to me is more of a guy that you're going to try to put out in the flat. You're going to try to put him as a flex wide receiving option out of the backfield.
And he's banged up right now.
He is banged up right now. You're exactly right. Coach Campbell has that old meathead mentality and may cost him this week. We'll get back to that in a moment.
Bingo. Comment of the week right there, brother.
Why is that?
It's read that comment again.
Coach Campbell has that old meathead mentality and may cost him this week.
And that is exactly why Detroit loses this game.
Okay.
they do something more than the Buccaneers do. They blitz even more than the Bucs. And you want to talk about a team. Tampa's really bad at biting on the play action pass on the defense. But this Detroit team, it's all 11 bite. I'm not kidding you. And let me tell you something. There is not a better quarterback in football that is better at the play action pass than Baker Mayfield. I said this 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
His play action is sick. I am telling you, it's going to be it's going to be beautiful to watch, especially if they can run the ball early in the game. Just watch. And that meathead mentality, just keep going after him, boys. Just keep going after him.
And I'll throw this jewel out there. Jared Goff is 55% completion percentage against the blitz. Guess who has to face this week? Todd Bowles and that defense. So he's not good under pressure. And maybe you get the old Jared Goff here, gentlemen, with giving you some turnovers. So good stuff there, KR. We stand with Rodney Harrison. Zach is garbage. He did play well versus the Broncos. I don't know what you're talking about. Put the crack pipe down there, Harry. If Zach Wilson isn't trash, then why did they pay Aaron Rodgers millions of dollars to be their starting quarterback? Well, it's very true. They moved on from Zach, but he did play well once again. He's played a couple good games against the Chiefs where
he won again.
Yep.
They should have beat the Chiefs.
Yep.
Hey, let's go out there.
I watched the last 2 Detroit games and noticed their linebackers bite on the play, action fake a lot. There you go.
Every play. Every time. They never miss it, Pete.
Jim says Detroit can lose to the Bucs and still have a great season, so I wonder how motivated they'll be for this one if they get hit in the mouth early. Leo, do you see that mentality, or do you think Campbell will have them ready to go?
Oh, he'll have them ready to go. Okay. I mean, this is one team. You're going to hit them in the mouth. They're going to hit you back. That's just the Lions mentality now. That's their DNA. You know, you may beat the Lions, but you're not going to beat up the Lions.
No.
That's the difference.
They're not a finesse team like the Miami Dolphins, which, by the way, it looks like their rookie running back is on the IR. That's not good. Bears fans are delusional. Sandro Nagel, watching the best sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area, the Sports Web with Amped Up Sports. I love St. Pete. It's going to be tough, but I think the Bucs will win, as always. Mom coming through. All right, Zach Mitchell, big-time Lightning fan right here. How do you feel about Bucs and Bears money line this Sunday? Harry, let me go out to you. I'll tell you what, hold up the line. Somebody using their second call, and then we will get out to that pick. Let's go back out to Ed. Ed, you're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek, and, of course, Leo Haggerty, the legend. Go.
I keep forgetting to ask this question. Is there any chance we're getting Ryan Jensen back this year?
No.
No.
I don't think you're going to get him back anytime soon. In fact, I think, guys, he may be done. He may be retired. He may try to come back, but I think he's done. And you could see that the way the contract and the language of it with him doing a favor, the Bucs still paying him. I think that he is done for his career, but we'll see. I don't want to rule him out because he's a tough guy and he's meant a lot to that Bucs offensive line. He's not coming back this year.
All right. Well, my next question is, are we going to finally get to see that rookie defensive end show if he's worth the first-round pick that we spent on?
What, the one from a couple of years ago?
Well, no, Kalijah Cansey. I think he's talking about defensive tackle / defensive end. I know you're talking about Cansey, number 19. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah. Are we going to finally see that he was worth his pick?
Well, I tell you right now, you saw flashes of brilliance of this, Ed. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you, as always, using your second call.
He's Aaron Donald 2.0 when he's healthy. That kid's that good.
Well, and again, you saw him.
But he's not healthy. So
right, he's not healthy. So there's a question mark there. You would think with the bye week, you're going to get him back. Once again, you saw him give Kirk Cousins a kidney shot. This is the reason why you drafted him 19th overall. He's kind of built like a defensive end, but he's a defensive tackle, and Todd Bowles is definitely going to get creative. What do you say, Leo? Do you think we see Cansey make an impact in this game?
Well, yeah, he full participation in practice. So, again, the only guy we're looking at, Mike Evans and Luke Gedeke had limited participation because of the calf.
Right.
Evans, we know, the hamstring. But, yeah, I like what they're starting to do with that rotation on the defensive line. But the bottom line is, guys, it all starts and stops with number 50. he is almost like the immovable object there in the middle. And Vita Vea is just he's I don't know how a guy that big can run that fast. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. All right, I want to read the rest of these comments. I promise, Harry, we'll get out to the picks. We'll also get that question from Zach Mitchell, as he was betting last week. Didn't necessarily have the best week for him. Montgomery was a fan favorite. Great teammate. Bears suck. That's all we need to say. What's new? You know I'm right. Sorry, Greek. Anthony Richardson, Colts Messiah. By the way, he's on the IR with an AC joint. Can't wait till we get rid of awful Fields and draft a real quarterback. Tom Banner. Baseball, ex-Sox player Abreu tearing up the Twinkies. Go Sox.
Yes.
Savasier Dennis, he hasn't played yet. We'll see. Get Mike North back on the show. That would be
I
great.
wish.
Have a nice trip. Harry KR says, interesting point, Harry, about the Lions' availability to be beatable at various times in the game. Anthony Richardson, stop driving us crazy with the vertical camera angle, bro. Would you shut up and be quiet? Troy, you ain't fooling anybody. We know who you are, my friend.
This guy sucks.
You could be Anthony Richardson, Paul Richardson. I don't care who you are. We know you're Troy Polamalu. And Tom says defensive line draft picks. Florida's Dexter is turning out to be very good. Going back to Zach's point here, Bears and Bucs on the money line. Yes or no, Harry the Greek? Why or why not? Yes.
You want to do picks?
Let's do picks. Let's do them.
Let's start it from the very top. Denver or Kansas City? Peter, who do you like? 10.5 points. Kansas City or Denver?
I like Kansas City. Denver's
Leo.
Lifeless. Yes.
I can't pick against the Kansas City Swifties.
Swifties. Very nice.
It's a division game. Zero chance I'm falling into that loophole. Can't do it. Won't do it. I'm going to Texas. It's El Paso. Baltimore, Tennessee. Leo, Baltimore's -4 on the road. Total's 40. Who do you like?
I like Tennessee. Here's why. Derrick Henry.
Peter.
Yeah, I think I like Tennessee also in this game. Even though Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, I don't know. I just they're questionable to me. I think they're going to get it together here with Derrick Henry. I like Tennessee in this game.
I like Tennessee getting the 4 points absolutely at home. Home dogs. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Home underdogs. Don't be afraid. Say it with me. Home underdogs.
Don't be afraid.
Washington and Atlanta. Atlanta's 2.5 points favorites. Washington's coming off a stinker. Ron Rivera is going to have these guys ready to play again. Or did Chicago really expose them? Atlanta's 2.5 point favorites. Totals 42. Peter, does Atlanta cover the 2.5? Washington, do you like the game or not?
I don't like this game at all. I don't like Desmond Ridder, but he did play well. I will give him his props against the Houston Texans, no less. I'm going to El Paso on this game. I'm passing.
That means you're going to Texas.
Yes.
Leo, you?
I'm not going to pass on this one. I think that the big thing is that if Bijan Robinson has 30 touches, Atlanta wins the football game, and they cover.
Here's the problem. The word if. I can't not make a play in this game. The Greeks also going to Texas. I can't put my money on it. I'm going to El Paso. Get this. Bet the second half, though, because if you watch the first half, you may notice something that you like, and then you can make an educated decision on it. Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears. 88% rule, baby. 88% rule. Minnesota's 2.5 point favorites on the road. And Peter, what does it mean when the road team's a 2.5 point favorite?
It means 88% of the time the home team wins. And then on top of it, Jefferson being out of this game, being on the IR, that offense is going to be nothing. The Bears have all the mo, my friend. I'm taking the Chicago Bears and the 88% rule.
Leo.
I'm going to Texas on this one, guys. I don't know.
Leo needs one more week to watch. Leo needs one more week. I know what he's talking about.
I do. I'm still Missouri. You got to show me.
Show me.
You know what? I'm not saying this because I'm wearing this jersey, but I'm starting to believe again. I've watched it 2 weeks in a row. You faltered against the Denver Broncos, against some boneheaded decisions, and quarterback play was mediocre in the late part of the fourth quarter. But I'm tired of trying to go against this 88% rule. I already know that 12% of the time.
We did it last week.
We did it last week, and it bit me in the ass.
Yes.
Okay? It bit me in the ass. 5 of my wins become because of the 88% rule. But I'm going to tell you what I really like. I love the over in this game. Every game has gone over. Chicago's defense has been pretty suspect, but they also been putting up points. It's only 44. This is a two-team parlay I'm giving you. The Chicago Bears, take them on the money line because of the 88% rule, and I love the over 44. Next game, Seattle at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's 2.5-point favorites. I have a question. Why? Why are they 2.5-point favorites here? Leo.
I don't know either, Harry. I mean, that's one of my picks, I think, this week is take the Seahawks to win outright.
Peter.
Yeah.
I love the music. Hit it.
Thank you. Absolutely. I know it is the music of the over-under right there, so we'll leave that in the background. Yeah, I like Seattle in this game. I don't know why everybody's so down on Seattle. I mean, this is a team that beat Detroit, so why not go with Seattle?
Well, I think it's everybody's on the Cincinnati bandwagon now that they won a game.
I'm still going to Texas on this game. Bet the second half. Do not put your hard-earned money because you don't know what Cincinnati team's coming. You'll know if Burrow's right. They're not going to be blowing Seattle off by any means. But if he looks like he's healthy and he can make both throws to both sides of the field, don't be afraid to bet the second half.
Yeah.
Here you go, guys. This is an interesting game. San Francisco's at Cleveland. Ready? Mm-hmm. Think about this. Leo's going to know what I'm saying. Peter, you might not get it right away. Frisco's -7 on the road, their favorite, and the total's 37. Leo, I'm going to let you take this one first.
Oh, hey, Harry, give me the over, and I'm taking the points. Cleveland and the over.
Peter.
Wow, Cleveland and the over. You know, both good defenses. Myles Garrett. Yeah, I think you can go over in this game. I definitely like the over, and I like San Francisco.
I kind of like the under a little bit here because I've always had a rule of thumb.
Mm-hmm.
If the total is under 40 points, they're trying to get you to bet the over.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, if Frisco covers the 7 points, it goes under, guys.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But if Cleveland covers, this is an easy over. So guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I like Cleveland covering the 7 points, so you got to play the over. That's 2 picks in one, just like in the Bear game. Take Cleveland plus the 7 and go over to 37 points. Next game, New Orleans -1.5 at the hot Houston Texans. Guys, total's 42.5, and New Orleans is favored on the road. Leo.
You know what? I don't know how good C.J. Stroud is now. Now, granted, he has played well.
0 picks.
Exactly. And that's what you want to see out of a rookie quarterback. Do not turn the football over. I just think that New Orleans coming off that shellacking of the Patriots, I think they're going to cover, but I think it's going to be an under.
Okay. That's interesting, Peter.
Yeah, I like the under in this game, too. You're exactly right. Stroud has not thrown an interception yet. The Texans' defense does play tough, and I still think the Saints have problems on their offense, although they may have solved it with Derek Carr looking completely healthy. I would take the Saints in this game, but the under.
Tell you what I'm doing. El Paso is very close to Houston. Well, no, wait a minute. That's on the other side of the state. Don't worry, it's still in Texas. You can't bet the first half. You can't bet the game. Don't do it. I'm not sold on New Orleans. I'm not sold. The only reason why the New Orleans Saints are not going to finish last is because Carolina sucks. Let's just call that right out where it's at. But New Orleans is not much better. When you have a head coach that has a very capable quarterback in Jameis Winston to play, but you elect to play a quarterback, even though they trounced New England, he's still not healthy. Don't be surprised that Houston beats this team. I can't bet it, though. Bet the second half. The next game, Indianapolis at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's coming off a really nice win, thanks to my wife, who did like them against Buffalo. Let me repeat that. Jamie, the Greeks, the Greekess, whatever you want to call it, the Greek goddess.
The Greek goddess, yeah.
She loved Jacksonville against Buffalo, and I was like, you're on drugs. But you know what? I'm going to take that pick. They're only 4 points favorites against Indianapolis. But you know what? Gardner Minshew.
Mm-hmm.
I still like Indianapolis not to cover. How about that? Go ahead and lay the wood with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Lay the 4 points. Do not mess with the over-under. It's a very, very, very tough over-under. It's 45.5. Leo, who do you like?
You know what, Harry? I would be on the Jacksonville bandwagon except for two things. They're coming back from across the pond, being over there 2 weeks. So they got the time change you're dealing with. You got to get back in. And you know what? The Stash is 3-0 as a player out in Indianapolis.
I know.
He's 3-0, which is kind of crazy. He was 2-0 when Richardson was hurt. They put him back in. He brought him back again. I really like Gardner Minshew, but I really like Jacksonville. So I'm going to take Jacksonville, but I'm not touching the over-under.
I understand it. Peter.
Yeah, I'm going with Jacksonville, but I agree, guys. Gardner Minshew gives them the best chance to win, even with Anthony Richardson and his improved play. But, of course, sad news for Colts fans and, of course, Gator fans out there with Richardson's improved play. He's going on the IR with an AC joint. It just comes back to the whole emphasis of when a quarterback's mobile and you don't slide, you don't get down, there's always the risk of injury. But with all that being said, I still think Minshew gives them an opportunity to be competitive in this game. Furthermore, Jonathan Taylor coming back. I still like Jacksonville in the momentum.
No matter how fast you run, Peter, you can run 4.3, jump 5 feet in the air. You can broad jump 70 feet. It don't make a difference. The NFL is going to catch up with you because you know what? You don't have to run 4.3 to hit you like a truck.
Yeah.
You can't continue to run the ball. Moving on to the next game, Carolina at Miami. Miami, boy, oh boy, oh boy. 13.5-point favorites. Can anybody repeat after me? Speed kills, and it sure does. They're going up against Carolina. I don't ever lay anything more than 10 points. I can't help it, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to go first here. I think everybody's going to agree with me. You got to lay the 13.5. I think they're going to roll Carolina in this game. Leo?
What's the over-under on that one, Harry?
Believe it or not, 48.5.
I think Miami covers that itself. So, yeah.
Even against a good defense like that, Leo, because I got this game a little closer at half and Miami pulling away. Like I said, it was going to happen last week.
I'm looking at 35-13.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what I do too. I think Miami has an opportunity, even with their finesse offense. That speed kills. Carolina is a disaster right now. They have a rookie quarterback. They're looking for wide receivers. They're looking for offense. I mean, this is just a case of.
And you know what, Peter? They got the wrong rookie quarterback. That's the worst part.
They did, because C.J. Stroud right now looks like the real deal. Most likely should have been the first player taken, and Bryce Young, with all the red flags, the concerns about the size are definitely evident at this point. And, I'm not going to say he's a bust at this juncture, but
no, way too early for that.
Way too early, but he has to play a lot better. And there's just not enough players on Carolina. That's why I like Miami in a blowout, a romp. Tua, and I know they lost their running back who scored 7 touchdowns in 3 games on the IR, but it doesn't matter. They're going to figure out a way run up the score on Carolina. Miami big in this game.
The game at hand. Detroit's coming to visit the Creamsicles. No love again for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's getting 3 points. I'm going to make it real simple and sweet for you. Don't even bother taking the points. You all know my feeling on this game. Detroit is way over aggressive on defense. Best play action team quarterbackers right here in Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield. I think Tampa gets out to an early lead, and it forces Detroit to do a lot of things they don't want to do. I know I sound like Memorex from what I said earlier in the game. Do not be afraid. Take Tampa Bay on the money line, not the points. Leo?
You know what, Harry? All my exes live in Texas.
Damn right.
And I am just scared to death that the Buccaneers aren't going to be able to run the ball. That takes the play-action game away, and they just go to drop back, and that scares me. So I am going to El Paso the whole thing here.
Peter.
I like the Bucs here. Coming off a bye week. They're getting healthy at the right time.
Have you ever picked against the Bucs? Just curious.
I have. I've absolutely picked against the Bucs, but not this week. I'm not picking against the Bucs against the Lions. Yes, the Lions are an improving team. But again, Tampa's coming off a bye week. They had
Harry, can I have a caveat on that?
Yes.
if Evans plays,
yes, sir,
I may change my tune. But if Mike Evans doesn't play, that's scary.
I think Evans plays.
I didn't want to go too long in any particular game, but this is a Buccaneer show, and I am going to go ahead and give a little dissertation on this. There was a huge difference from this team being 3-1 and 2-2. And when they went to 3-1, it was against a team that I said they were going to beat. And that's what's going to give them the momentum in this game. This is the reason why that record, this team is riding high. This team could absolutely go on a 5 or 6 game win streak because of this last win. That's how well they're playing. And I'm going to tell you another thing. They should have beat Philadelphia. I'm sorry. I don't care what that score said. I am telling you what I watched in the replay when I was doing the coach's tape. There was such poor coaching involved in this game. It was sickening. And I don't see Canales making the same mistake twice. Very similar type of team. Leo alluded to it in just about 10 minutes ago. Very similar type of offensive line, very similar defensive line. Let me explain something to you. He's not going to make that same mistake. You're not going to see that 7-step drop back. That's why I like the Bucs stay where they are. And if you did line up Philly and Tampa again, I'd still give you the same pick.
All right, it's good stuff here. What else is on the docket here?
New England at the Raiders. Raiders are at home, and they're favored by 3. Okay, Pete, you go first. You like this game, or are you going to Texas? Wait a minute. The over and under is 41.5.
Yeah, I'm going to Texas on this game. I don't care. I don't even think this game should be on TV, let alone played. I mean, coaches right now, Bill Belichick looks like he could be done. The way he has, tried to not support Mac Jones. I felt like Bailey Zappi will be the next quarterback of this team. And then Josh McNugget somehow, some way, pulled off a win in a thriller on Monday Night Football versus the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to El Paso on this. I'm going to Texas.
Leo.
Oh, the yellow rose of Texas is sure of where I'm going, for sure.
I'm going to ride the hot hand. The Greek played the Raiders last week, and he's going to do it again. This team's not as dysfunctional as you think, ladies and gentlemen. They have a bonehead coach, but this team is really trying to play. And New England was embarrassed. I got a little secret for you. They're going to get embarrassed again, and this time it's going to be on the road. And Belichick, it was Brady. It wasn't you. Moving on to the next game, Arizona at the Rams. The Rams are -7 at home. Why? Arizona's playing lights out. Can anybody name 4 players on this team? I'm kidding. Leo, what do you like? Total's 48.5. Rams -7. Go.
I like the under on this, Harry. I don't know if I like taking the points because the Rams had trouble moving the football in the second half. Arizona has trouble moving the football all the time. So I like the under, but that's it.
Peter.
I can name 2 players off of Arizona, Dobbs and Connor, but Dobbs has definitely been exposed. He's not an NFL quarterback. And, of course, Cooper Kupp has returned to that Matt Stafford-led offense. I like the Rams in this game, and I think the Rams can – I'm waiting for this Arizona team to have a stinker, and I think it could be this week versus the Rams.
Perfect. I'm going to Texas. Absolutely running to Texas on this game. I couldn't play this game with stolen money. I'm going to be honest with you. But I'll tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to watch the first half. 3 more games to go through Philadelphia at the Jets. Can I go first?
Please.
Don't even waste my time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why the Greek makes money. Play the New York Jets this week without the points. Get them almost 3-1. Get them on the money line. Don't be afraid. Put your toes in the water and let's make some money. New York Jets on the money line. Leo.
You know why this is a good pick with the Jets? It's a trap game for the Eagles. They got Miami next week.
Yep.
So, yeah, this could be trouble.
Oh, by the way, the total's 41.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's certainly possible because the Jets have one of the most talented defenses in the National
And San Francisco's 29th. 30th in the league for their corners on play action pass. Just throwing it out there.
But I will say this. I'll pat myself on the back because I told you last week that the Eagles were the real deal. They disposed of the Rams, but you're exactly right, Leo Haggerty. That's why you're the legend.
Is that another reason they went to the West Coast now going all the way to the East Coast?
I think they're going
and you got Miami next week. Good point, Mr. Leo. I didn't even think about that.
I tell you right now, and I see Zach Wilson right now. He's coming together with this Jets team. He's playing pretty high. I think he can continue to do that. I like the Jets in this game.
Hide your mother, hide your grandmothers, hide your sisters, because the Wilson is for real. Leo, do we all agree Jets possibly on the money line or no?
Yes. The whole thing there is, Harry, it's like the Detroit game. Jets need to get the lead. They need to play with the lead, because if they get behind, the Eagles, like we saw with the Bucs, they'll play keep away.
If the Jets get the lead in this game and it forces Philadelphia to be one-dimensional, oh my God. I'm telling you now, it will be ugly. Next game, Giants at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is 14.5-point favorites. And get this, the total is 44.5. I don't know if Danny Quarters or Danny Dollars is playing or not, but that's something to see. If he is playing, don't be afraid to play the Giants in the first half, because they're going to get 9.5 to 10 points. Do not play the game. Run to Texas. Peter.
Yeah, I mean, I think I should pat myself on the back, because I told you guys that the Giants weren't as good as a lot of people thought they were. And furthermore, this offensive line is giving up 29 sacks, so it may not be on Danny Dimes. It's definitely not on him. They got too many problems, too many injuries. I like Buffalo in this game.
Leo.
Oh, definitely the Bills. Bet the house on this one. The Bills, coming off a loss, are really tough, especially at home. So, yeah, I like the Bills. And you know what, Harry? I like them to cover.
Oh, I don't mind seeing it to cover, but I always look for these big point spreads. It doesn't really work out the way they are. Buffalo has a tendency of playing down to their teams. They have something to prove. If Danny Dollar, not Danny Dimes, Danny Dollar, because that's exactly what he's costing them. If they score 7 to 10 points in the first half, they're going to cover the first half line. But it's not something I want to give out. I'm not giving out that game. I understand exactly why you guys like the minus 14, because the Giants aren't really playing too well. But I will give you out one little tidbit. I do like the over 44.5, because I think Buffalo is good for 33 alone in this game. Ooh. Dallas at the Chargers. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
The Dallas Cowboys are 2.5-point favorites. This is the 88% rule again. Could it be right? Could God's team, America's team, could the hole in the roof be closing up on them? Are you kidding me? What is going on? Where are all these road 2.5-point favorites coming from? It's real simple. The total's 50 points. Khalil Mack gets 4 sacks in this game. I'm telling you now, San Diego at home, money line. Another underdog. Leo.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what I'm hearing too, Harry? That they're telling the head coach of the Chargers that the game's the next day. That's advantage Chargers.
Well, absolutely. You're absolutely right if they were in San Diego, but they're in L.A. now. In case you knew or didn't know, they're L.A. football fans. You haven't shown up for it. So I'm going to go with the Chargers in this game. Lots of dysfunction going on with the Dallas Cowboys. Already hearing whispers of Dak Prescott maybe not being worth all that money after all. Amazing.
Well, it's going to be a battle of the showdown. Was it Danny Dimes or was it Dak Prescott? Who's going to be the bigger flop right now? I think it might be Danny Dimes, but Prescott's just right behind him.
Yep. You know what, Harry? And I cannot understand the Giants coaching staff. You're sitting there, and by the second quarter, you knew your offensive line was getting beat every single play, and they still wanted to run 4- and 5-man pass patterns. I don't get it.
With 7-step drops, Leo.
Yeah.
You forgot that. With 7-step drops.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, when he hit that 7th step, it was panic city because he's seeing color in his face. And as Ron Jaworski told us, don't put color in a quarterback's face. That's when fear hits. And you could see. I'm amazed that the Giants quarterback just didn't go to the head coach. Hey, I'm done. Put somebody else in. Well, because you can't protect me.
There was one point in the game, play after play after play.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I watched Danny Dimes before he went into his drop back. Instead of holding the ball here, it was already here. He wasn't even, that poor kid couldn't even set up the throw. It was, you talk about poorly coached. I think the Greek said something about Brian Daboll might not be the answer in New York because he only runs a lot of 5-man pass protect. Do you remember that, Leo? But I got sucked into it. I loved all the acquisitions that they made. I wish I never said it. Peter, you can look at me. You can look at me, Pete. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You're right, Peter. They're not very good. But I was right about Brian Daboll, and it's coming to fruition. He's not going to be the head coach of this team in the next 2 years. Watch.
Oh, I'll tell you right now, all the success he had in the first year was tremendous. The Giants getting to the playoffs and then getting their doors blown off by Philadelphia, and that momentum has definitely carried over to this season. Fellas, great stuff here. Let's update some information or update some comments. Ed says, come on, Harry. Jameis Winston sucks. I don't know.
That's because I made a comment. Why are you not playing a perfectly healthy quarterback when the one you just got done paying a huge hunk of money to, okay, has got a bum shoulder and can't throw to his left? Sorry, I'll still stick by it. And again, FYI, Ed, I don't hate the Bucs.
He doesn't hate the Bucs, Ed, and I think Ed knows that. Now, Christopher Cole would like to say a Texas showdown in the ALCS. This is what I have to say.
This guy sucks.
I mean, does anybody care about Texas anymore? I don't care about Texas. I'm not even watching freaking baseball after the Rangers, defeated the Rays. So
you gotta take your hat off.
Take this hat off. I'll take my hat off to the Astros, bunch of friggin' cheaters.
Shitter!
I'd probably take Texas over the Astros at
Peter, little shout out to my guy who always watches the show, and especially when he's not pitching. Sorry. I'm really, really sorry to what happened to Baltimore. Joey, I know you're watching tonight. Son, I love you. You ran into a buzzsaw. You seen what this team did to the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah.
Look, man, it's all about that momentum. You still are the better team. You were the best team in the American League this year. You showed it, but you just didn't get hot enough. Good luck next year, Joey. It's much love, little brother. And you'll get him next year.
All right. Lady B Needs says hello to you. Ed says, Harry, I know you don't hate the Bucs. I think he was talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. No, Ed.
No, here is the correct one. The Tampa. Hang on. Go back to the comment. Go back to the comment real quick.
Harry, I know you don't hate the Bucs.
It's right over here. See, here we go. I know I don't hate the Bucs. I know I don't.
It's
Leo's trying to read it.
Wow, look at this.
We'll go right back there. Here we go.
What are you guys doing? What are you doing?
Hey, not my circus, not my monkey.
You ready? Watch this one. Pete's going to go nuts. Ready? Whoopsie.
Whoopsie. How are you doing that?
It's very easy.
I've got to figure this out, how you're doing that.
It's voodoo.
Well, you know what, guys? My pitch count is over, and I had the no-hitter going. That's why I had to keep going. But I think I just gave up a leadoff double. So, guys, I'm going to have to call it a night. You have
Leo,
a great show.
Thank you so much for staying on tonight. Hopefully next week, we're going to do this in 2 segments. I'm going to have to get you on the show on a Sunday morning for the over-under.
Yeah!
This was fun. This was, we're talking about all different kind of things. This segment actually went a little longer than normal because I had a lot more games. Usually it's condensed to like maybe 5 or 6 games. It would only have taken 15 minutes. But you know what? This was a lot of fun, a lot of interaction. At least now Ed knows that I don't hate the Bucs. I love you, Ed, but
you don't hate the Milwaukee Bucks in this case, and you also
no, I hate the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, you do hate.
I don't hate the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks I hate. Tampa Bay Bucks I don't hate.
They may be the top team in the NBA, there, gentlemen. With
no Milwaukee Bucks, no bueno, no bueno,
no bueno. Okay,
no bueno.
All right, Leo.
All right, guys, I will see you next week. Take care.
See you tomorrow.
Hey, hold on, one for Leo. I got to give him something here. Hold on, man.
Do it. Let's see.
I don't remember how to do this.
What are you doing?
Wait a minute.
What are you doing?
I'm almost there, Leo.
I'm here.
I can't see you, Leo.
You're such an idiot, dude.
This guy sucks.
All right, I'm going to go down like a turtle, too. All right, great stuff there. I love your forehead, Leo. It looks great. You look great. There, he's gone right there. All
God,
right.
I love that guy. He's
I do
awesome.
too. I love him. And we'll see tomorrow night. We'll have a special edition of the Sports Web brought to you by Amped Up Sports with some previews, the great Roy Cummings. Just tune in. Keep on tuning in to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Of course, we have USF covered on Saturday, and breaking news here. I will be out there covering the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, fully credentialed against the Detroit Lions, representing, of course, the Sports Web, the J.P. Peterson Show, and then Leo Haggerty will be out there. So look for the post-game show. Hopefully, Harry, you're on that, producing that, so I don't have to lean down like an idiot and read comments. Let's go out to Jim.
One little problem, bud.
What's that? You're going to be gone. That's right.
I'm going to be at the world-renowned Keeneland Horse Track. Yours truly is going to be in the clubhouse for 3 straight days. Oh,
very nice.
horrible.
Very nice, my friend. Very
and then I have to take care of business. I have to go a little further north, about 600 miles. Not quite 600. Go take care of some business, and then I'm coming back home to Florida.
Florida. All right. Jim Melvin says, awesome. It's not over yet. Keep on tuning in, my friend. We got plenty to go. Eric says, Peter, do you think Mike Evans will play Sunday?
Yes.
I don't play a doctor on TV. I've never been one, but I do think he will play on Sunday for the Creamsicle celebration. Harry,
I don't play a doctor either, but I did save a whole bunch of my money by switching to Geico for my car insurance, and Ralph Williams actually gave me that.
Yes. Well, there you go, Ralph, right there. As Ralph is on the building there with what's going on, Ralph?
Ralph.
Oh, not much. How you doing, guys?
Well, you disappeared there into the bricks. So I don't know what's.
Yeah, I'm fine now. So.
All right, good stuff. We'll come out to you in a moment. Let me get out there. Give me some final thoughts here, Harry the Greek, on the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Hey, man, this is really simple. I'm going to have to go full screen. I love hanging out with you, Peter. But you know what? You can catch me here Monday and Wednesdays right here live on the Sports Web. Sunday mornings, typically, we're going to be doing the over-under with my co-host. It's either going to be Ray Kennedy from Tampa Bay Ray or Peter Blake. And on Tuesdays, sometimes, guess what? You can see me on the Chicago Clubhouse podcast with all the boys up there. Let me tell you something. Much love to everybody up there. Hope you guys are making some money. And as I always say, the Greek says it all the time, keep your bets low and your returns high. Listen to these numbers over here. If you've been betting $100 on each one of them, especially with the underdogs, you'd be up an absolute small package. Love you guys. Have a really good one. Ralph, I see you in that back room over there. I got to catch a flight in the morning. I'm getting out of here. I'm beat. I got to go to bed. You guys have a good time.
Yeah, man. Safe travels. Too bad you can't join us here on Turnbuckle Talk.
Well, hold on. Here. Hang on. Do you really want me to stay for this Turnbuckle Talk?
Well, if you got to get up for and travel there, Harry, I understand.
He ain't staying. Get out of here. Dick the Bruiser this. Get out of here. Get out of here. We'll go out to Ralph in just a moment. We're waiting for Mark Mancini. Let's go out to this interview today off of the J.P. Peterson Show, which I got an opportunity to talk to a former tight end of the Bucs and, of course, the Jets there, Anthony Beck, now involved with the St. Louis Battlehawks of the XFL here, as he talks about Cade Otton, his development on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Enjoy. Anthony, speaking of skill positions, what do you see out of the young tight end in Cade Otton? What do you like from him, and what do you think he needs to improve to progressively get better for this team?
Yeah, I got to meet Cade at the Combine. He was actually injured. I was representing the liaison for the tight end group, talked a little bit about him, and I saw him this year in camp, and I think the best thing about Cade, he gets to play now. He's the guy. I mean, you need reps. I always a big fan of just like, listen, if he's your guy, like force feed him the ball. The more confidence players have, the more successful they can be. I love his size. I love his toughness. He's got really good hands. You know, he's caught balls and been around in a huddle with Tom Brady. So he's been around those pressures of understanding he's got to be in the right spot at the right time. And now, I'm sure that's really progressed his growth, is just understanding the level that needs to be played at. So, I think I think he's going to be really good. I really do. I think he's going to be a good player. what his level of progression is, what his ceiling is. I think that's yet to be seen. But the fact that he's playing now, I just think the more you utilize him, the better he'll be. So hopefully the Bucs continue to, let him shine a little bit, give him the targets that he needs, and then Baker finds them. The tight ends are those security blankets. And again, the guy gets 5-6 targets every week. That would bode well for his future.
All right, so welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. When you get a first-round pick like Anthony Beck, who basically breaks down the game, you got to ask him, who's the best tight end in the league right now? Is it Travis Kelce or is it Greg Kittle? His answer may surprise you. Here we go. Tight end. Is it Kelce for you or is it Kittle? Why? Who's the better tight end out of both?
Ooh, good question.
Thank you.
Well, listen, Travis Kelce is an elite route runner. Just so smooth. And, he's what you're getting there. I think if I were to pick a guy, I would probably pick Kittles because he's great at all aspects of the position. There's a level of play that he maxes out every single week at everything he does, whether he's blocking, protecting, running routes. He's just got a lot of energy. I just love what he puts forth in 4-quarter game. Travis, again, him and Mahomes are locked in. Like they find each other, whether he may be on the right route or he's open immediately where he's coming out. It seems like to me that, he's just got a nice knack for route running that's a little different than a lot of guys, even receivers in the league. But, it comes with, me, I'm a little old school. Like I want to, the other stuff that comes with Travis is great. It's good for the fans and all that stuff.
All right, so there you go. Surprising answers from him. And we're just waiting on this other clip where I ask him who he thinks the best tight end of all time is. And you may be surprised with his answer here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Got to ask you, because of what you just said, is Gronkowski the best tight end in your opinion of all time, or is Gonzalez in there? Who are your top tight ends?
Well, you're coming hard today, Blake.
I am. Anthony's great. I know he knows his stuff here. So yeah. Who's your top tight end?
On the edge of my seat.
Yeah. I would say Gronk is the best tight end. Just pure size, athleticism for his size, the contested catch, the rampant production that he had over a long spurt of time. I mean, you think at the end there when he was getting hurt and took a year off, I mean, the numbers would be, pretty sick as far as just what he had done. He was on pace for touchdowns. It was going so fast for him. So, but I also know that he sticks his face in there.
Devastating.
That as a Buck as well. I mean, here's a guy that didn't have to do that, and quite frankly, I thought he did too much of it for the Bucs. But it was definitely something that helped the team. So, he's the greatest, man. Again, just game day. And again, you could say the same thing. It's like, okay, he had a lot of stuff on the off the field that were maybe crazy, but man, there's just something about him that just when football came around, it was all ball and he was dialed in. So, and not to take in every tight end over the course of time has a lot of attributes. I think that I just like the guys that are complete. And, to me, he was complete at every aspect at a high level.
All right, and as you can see, I was rocking the creamsicle jacket. Of course, if you don't know the story, I'm going to post it on Facebook. Of course, that was the time when I was in 7th grade where somebody burned a hole in it, and I still wore it. It didn't stop me from not wearing that jacket. In fact, it fired me up to do what I'm doing, and of course, I'll be covering the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday, and I got it signed by one of the greatest Tampa Bay Buccaneers of all time, left tackle Paul Gruber. Let's go out to the comments here, and then we will get to one of the popular segments of the show, professional wrestling, AEW action, WWE action, Turnbuckle Talk with Mr. Mark Mancini and, of course, Ralph Williams, bodyguard of the Berg. Let's see here. You could put me on your post-game show, bro. You're always welcome to call up on the phone lines there. Eric says, One of my friends' coworkers just passed away Monday morning. Massive heart attack. I think he was 60. So sad. Prayers out to you and their family. I'm sorry that you are sad. I'm hoping that this show will take your mind off of it. And that's what the tool of the sports web is to do, is to take your mind off of death. It is to take your mind off of bills. It is to take your mind off of things that are in your life. And of course, it is all about reality, because we're just talking about sports and having a good time. And as always, I'm hoping you're laughing, and I'm hoping that you're having a good time. But prayers out to you and your family, and hopefully this show can help you through those hard times. Let's go out to Mike and join my bottle of Christian Brothers Brandy. I like it. Of course, some people would say the reason why you're getting drunk is because you can't stand watching me. Hopefully that is not the case, Mike. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's get out to the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williamson, and of course Mark Mancini, who is in the dark. I don't know what's going on there. Mark, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, brother.
There he is.
I'm here. Yep. This is the show to sweep in the country, man. How can you miss it? You're loading up the arsenal. You're covering a game that should be the Sunday night game. Yes. I don't know how they didn't put that on. Detroit and Tampa Bay should be right there. I'm kind of feeling it a little. My Penguins lost last night. Ralph's a little down because Harry Burke brought those lousy Blackhawks into Pittsburgh. But I will tell you, the fat lady singing in Atlanta and Los Angeles, there will be funerals this week. Time to be determined to bury the Dodgers and the Braves.
Well, I tell you right now, how surprised were you by those outcomes of those series? Of course, the Dodgers being one of the top teams, of course, and then on top of it, the Braves, who looked just unbeatable during the season, but really it doesn't mean anything when it comes to the postseason. It's a totally different animal. Mark, first, how surprised are you by those outcomes? And then Ralph, you.
I might be the hated guy in Los Angeles. I don't know if I need the bodyguard of the Berg out here, but I lay the facts down, and the facts don't lie. You might win 10 of 11 division titles or 11 out of 12. You might win 100 games, up Buck seasons. Who cares? But reality is set in when you look in the mirror and nobody's there except you, and you haven't won a World Series playing 162 games in over 35 years. So you're a big market flop, and this is a psychological thing. This could be the Buffalo Bills. They win the regular season, then they fall asleep like a deer in headlights during the regular season, and that excuse train will be coming, I guarantee you, in another day or so.
I agree with you, Ralph. How surprised are you by these outcomes, namely Atlanta, which is, again, head and shoulders the best team, and they're on the brink of elimination here from the Philadelphia Phillies.
I was a guest on another sports show on Beaver County Radio tonight, and it's called the Hey Peanut Show. And we were talking about baseball, and they asked my picks, and I said Atlanta and Texas for the World Series.
Wow!
And now here we are, Atlanta is behind the eight ball, and out of this thing, and with Philly. But Leo told me when we had our show on Saturday morning, telling it like it is, he said that watch out for Philly, and here we are. There's Philly.
Well, there you go. Philly with their superstar and Bryce Harper. So we'll see how that series works out. All right, let's get to it, guys.
Hey, Peter, I got to tell you something. Our good friend Fred Gertani just said this is one of the most remarkable ass kickings in postseason history. What's going on in Arizona?
I'm telling you right now, I don't understand it. The Dodgers, but again,
I predicted it. I said it. Arizona. I knew it. The Dodgers were gonna fold like they've done before, and they're doing it again.
Well, let's go.
Lay an egg in the playoffs.
And Clayton Kershaw definitely should not ever pitch in the postseason. He's terrible in the postseason. Exactly. If the Braves win Thursday night, they will advance. So we shall see.
Jim drinking? Jim shouldn't drink and call the show.
They're not done yet. They're not done. They're not done.
And went to happy hour and then called the show, Mark.
All right. The big.
That's a house of hell in Philadelphia to play baseball. And good luck trying to win a game out of there.
I agree.
Too many cheesesteaks.
The crowd is obnoxious. The fans are obnoxious, but you got to love it when it comes to sports because they're all about their Phillies. They're all about their Eagles.
Can I add something before we get into the wrestling?
Sure.
You know, everybody's talking 49ers and this and that, but you know what? I look at the 49ers and who have they played? I'll tell you the team you got to watch out for in the NFC, and there's a few of them. Philadelphia Hurts is 19-1 as a starter. Tampa's doing good. I love Baker Mayfield. Detroit is going to feel the effects of what's going to happen here. And who's watching that yawner tomorrow in Kansas City?
Oh, that's a disaster. I thought that Sean Payton was going to be a lot better as a coach for the Broncos. They just don't have the horses there. I mean, pardon the pun, but really, they
don't. You know, the cupboard's bare, Peter. There's nothing in the cupboard.
The Broncos have a bunch of donkeys out there, especially defense. I mean, this is a team that gave up 70. They have no clue at the end of the day. Is it Russell Wilson? Is it their offense? Is it their defense? Is it coaching? Who knows? It has been a complete disaster. And even though it's a division game, I think the Chiefs will blow.
I think the Chiefs are going to roll over them. Yep.
So
I agree.
You're looking.
Yeah, I like Peter. I like the effect in Tampa last night. The ladies were out there. The whole place was they looked like Hollywood, and you took out the Nashville Preds.
Yeah, 5-3 there. Nick Paul with 2 goals. Kucherov scoring, lighting the lamp there with 10 minutes. Like 4 minutes in the game, which is always great with the momentum, and then scoring on the empty netter. And of course, Vasilevsky's going to be out for 2 months, so we'll see how that team responds. With that being said, there was also wrestling on last night. I got to ask this gentleman, what did you watch? Did you watch AEW Dynamite, which is on Tuesday night? Because I think it was preempted hockey tonight. Or did you watch NXT, which, by the way, had John Cena, The Undertaker come out, LA Knight? I mean, they really stacked the deck with superstars. And, oh, by the way, in ratings, they kicked AEW's ass. 300,000.
Well, you knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So what did you guys watch last night? Give me some thoughts on NXT or AEW Dynamite, Mark.
Well, I liked it. I mean, you knew that was going to happen. And AEW thought, well, we'll get out of the baseball realm of things. We'll get onto the NXT channel here and try to – you're not going to beat the Cenas. You're not going to beat the Heymans, the Sockers, the Undertaker, the LA Knight. I mean, this was one of those things, well, if you think you're going to compete, we're just going to send you heavy artillery and blow you off the map, and that's exactly what they did. And I don't understand why AEW did that. Can you ask me?
Well, I think it was, again, preempted because of hockey tonight, right? Does hockey have some type of
well, play earlier or play it later or something. Don't go.
Well, they have hockey and they have NBA, NBA as well. So I mean, that was the reason why Dynamite, has to be moved around for that.
Well, actually, TBS, I think it was baseball tonight.
Baseball too. That's right. Yeah, Atlanta baseball.
So
right.
That's the reason why. Just playoff baseball in general. So that's the reason why they had to move it up. So NXT, you got The Undertaker comes out, Braun Breaker, who. Guys, they need to change the name. I get it. He doesn't want to be a signer. But every time you see this kid, he looks like his Uncle Scott. He talks like his Uncle Scott.
Yep.
He's a lot like his dad. But the more I look at him as a wrestler, and I was surprised he lost last night because he's definitely over. He had Paul Heyman come out. I mean, he's a eventual superstar. But every time I see this kid, I think Big Papa Pump it's got your hookup. Holler if you hear me. I feel like that's the gimmick. Well, Braun Breaker, he should change his name to Steiner. What do you say, Mark?
Oh, I definitely do. The guy, you know who this guy reminds me of? He reminds me of LA Knight. Nice little push. And now, working with Cena and that, and we'll get into that. I know that tag team. He just goes over. And, they're buying into it. You hope they don't do, I've seen, and we've all seen this. These guys get a little bit of a push, and then all of a sudden, we got a 15-minute car chase. And, let's keep it going. We've seen these guys come in. We've seen them push to stardom. Case in point, the Keith Lees and everything. Now we got a Bronson Reed being pushed. I mean, I hope the Breaker, he can get a nice push and keep it going. You got to get to the crowd. That's what keeps it going. You got to get them guys to keep giving you the heat every week.
Yeah, and I feel like it's interesting because Paul was on the phone last night with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Do we assume that he may recruit Braun Breaker into the bloodline? Ralph, you buying this?
I don't think so. I think Paul Heyman was just there last night to help Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker will probably work on his own. I don't know. But I know the bloodline needs to get a little bit bigger and stronger because they're now weak a little bit. They lost Jey Uso, Sami Zayn's out of the group. They haven't really recruited otherwise. They have family members that are present right now. One's in NXT and another one is in I think MLW or one of them other wrestling federations or companies.
Yeah.
So they have to start getting some of their family involved. Nia Jax, maybe. I mean, I got to do something. Bloodline.
That's why I say Breaker could be joining them, and of course,
well, he's not part of that family, but who knows?
Neither was Sami Zayn. Zayn. He's a young superstar. He's a big guy. I think he's definitely over with the crowd. I eventually think he'll get a push to the main roster off of NXT. He has nothing left to prove at the end of the day, so I definitely could see that. And for me, the great thing is him and Paul Heyman together. Paul Heyman is the perfect. And I thought he was going to say Brock Lesnar. He says Braun Breaker. So it's almost like history repeating itself. What else did you see last night? John Cena coming out. You had The Undertaker slamming Breaker in the middle of the ring. Did you like that? Because, of course, Breaker says in his promo, he's a badass. And then, of course, you got The Undertaker. The lights hit. It goes to the gong. And then you got the Kid Rock music with him coming out on a motorcycle, telling him, "Young kid, you're not the baddest badass. So you got to watch out for the old guy here." Slams him in the middle of the ring. What did you think about that, Mark?
Oh, I like it. It reminds me of the time, when the Taker, and I couldn't remember who the guy was. He came out, made an appearance on his motorcycle, came to the ring, dropped the guy, and then got back on his bike and rode through the back. And I'm trying to think who that wrestler was that was in the ring with him. And gosh, escapes me. But I like those appearances by The Undertaker.
I don't think he
walks slowly and carries a big stick.
That's it. What did you think about the appearance last night, Ralph, of The Undertaker basically trying to put over Braun Breaker? He did a good job of it.
Yeah, anytime The Undertaker's on a program, Peter, I like it. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. Always enjoyed The Undertaker. I used to sell shirts at the events with Undertaker on them, and they sold like hotcakes. So I like The Undertaker, and I'm glad he showed up and did what he did to Braun Breaker. Right? Sometimes a younger guy like that needs to be taught a little bit of a lesson.
All right, some moves here in WWE, and we'll go to AEW in just a moment. But, of course, the other surprising news was that Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, which, by the way, gentlemen, did you see the press conference? Because both of them were out of their mind. They were partying. They are the new tag team champions of the world over the Judgment Day. How surprised were you that they took the belts off of Judgment Day and put them on Cody and Jey? Mark?
Well, I think with Cody, here's a guy that believed in Jey, kind of stood by him when the rest of the locker room wasn't really in his corner. And, and he took the hits, and people questioned, where he was lying with this. And to go out there and beat the Judgment Day, this whole Judgment Day is going to fold like a tent here momentarily.
I don't know, Mark. I think it's going to get stronger and stronger. I think
what's happening here is Damian, and I'm going to go on this road. You can join me if you want, because I got an open caravan and a lot of seats. And I'm going to tell you, Damian Priest is going to finally say, you know what, enough's enough of this. Balor's going to go with his little hobbit boy there, and him and them are going to play Harry Potter and try to challenge Damian Priest. and then Rhea Ripley's going to finally get enough. This group is going to fold quicker than the Bloodline. The Bloodline's going to be there all the way to WrestleMania. I'm telling you that right now. They're going to get stronger. You hit it. They'll probably pick up a Nia Jax, a Braun Breaker. They're going to pick up somebody. maybe a Bronson Reed, the guy like him. But Roman Reigns is good in the next couple weeks. You're going to see where he's probably sitting there saying, I got to load up now. And who knows, maybe a Damian Priest starts to come over into the bloodline. It's going to get interesting. But the first guy out of the Judgment Day is the bloodline. And that's happening.
I think it's Damian Priest. I think you're right. Ralph, how surprised were you that they put the tag team titles on Cody and Jay?
Well, I wasn't surprised. I read some reports that this was going to happen before Fastlane. And I also watched a couple of podcasts, and they said, oh, yeah, this is going to happen. And I've got a couple sources that usually are pretty good with their information. They said this was going to happen, and I'm glad it did, because like Mark, I agree with him that I think the Judgment Day is going to go bye-bye. Now, here's another report now that I know, and that is that Damian Priest is going to cash in Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. He's going to lose he's going to lose, and he's going to waste his time with it. And the Bloodline's going to kick him out, and he's going to become a babyface. And that's just on his own. So I don't know where the Bloodline or where Judgment Day goes from there. We're going to find out. There could even be a merger. I mean, you saw Rhea Ripley with Paul Heyman. Might be a merger. I think that could happen.
Definitely could happen. Of course, the other big news, Jade Cargill showing up last night, not really doing anything. It's kind of curious to see what she's going to do or who they're going to put her up against. Mark, what did you think about that move? Jade Cargill, I'm a big fan. Think she's got, everything that you want, the look, the charisma. She's still a little bit green in the ring, but from where she has come from, it's been amazing. She can definitely be a superstar, already a star, to be a superstar in WWE. What do you say?
I definitely agree with you, and that's why I'll throw another name in there too. And I knew she was going to retain was Io Sky. Io Sky is a real prominent, great wrestler, and I love the way she wrestles. She's going to probably break away, but with these girls coming in now, Cargill and everything, I think the women's thing is just bigger and unbelievable the way it's going. You got Charlotte Flair, you got Asuka there. The one I don't understand what's going on is Bianca Belair, and it's kind of a head scratcher with Belair and her husband and the other one there, the Dawkins.
It's not.
What's going on with the Street
It's
Profits?
not. It's the new Hurt. It's the new Hurt business, and if WWE is smart, they will put Bianca Belair in the new Hurt business, and they will also add Jade Cargill to that group. Now, you say, why would you do that? Well, that's a powerful faction first and foremost.
Yes.
And then eventually, how you book this is they're friends. It sets up a feud eventually, and at WrestleMania, they wrestle each other. Ralph, what do you say?
Absolutely, I agree 100% with both you guys.
Boy,
but I think I'd like to see Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. The three of them bullying everybody around is going to be an interesting scenario. I see Rhea Ripley losing her belt if one of them gets hot and decides that WWE decides to forget about Rhea Ripley and she loses her belt to one of them, because Shayna Baszler's hot right now, and Nia Jax is here and she's beating up everybody like she normally does, and now you have Jade Cargill, and look out, here it comes.
Yeah, here it comes, and you could definitely see.
I will tell you that, guys. I know Gunther passed,
Honky Tonk Man.
Right, for the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion.
Correct.
Let me tell you something. Gunther's good. I don't think he can wash the boots of the Honky Tonk Man. The competition the Honky Tonk Man went through was a lot more physical and draining. It kind of reminded me of the SEC. What Gunther's facing is the Big Sky Conference. This is come on, when you look at the competition he's wrestling, Ciampa there, and then the Gable, and I mean it's just he's getting a push. They're trying to make him better than the Honky Tonk, but come on, guys, we've been watching wrestling. There was one Honky Tonk Man. He was one hell of an Intercontinental champ. I don't know what you guys agree on.
He was a talented wrestler, talented performer, and it kind of makes you wonder why they do that. But I guess it was time, and that's how much emphasis they're putting in with Gunther, how much they're trying to put him over. He's definitely over with the crowd. His wrestling skills, he's paid his dues. He's improved his body over the years. He's over. And they're definitely got some big plans coming up here for WrestleMania in Philadelphia. The other big story besides Edge going to AEW.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This one coming from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, as he said the CM Punk report, they turned him down. The decision was a no. He wanted to go there. The decision was a no. I mean, it can always change. It was brought up to me that there's no such thing as no forever when it comes to WWE, but it's not. It's a no for now. It's Vince's decision. Vince, Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, of course, being Triple H, and obviously they decided the negatives outweighed the positive. Now, and also, there was a report out there that said that he had to mend fences, not only with a Roman Reigns, but a Seth Rollins. I still think CM Punk comes back in Chicago for Survivor Series. What do we make of this report of CM Punk basically saying in so many words, or this report saying in so many words, that WWE is not interested? I will tell you why he will sign with WWE, because like Triple H has always said, what's best for business. And if you want somebody that's going to draw ratings, not only be great in the ring, but draw ratings, CM Punk is the guy. And the wrestling match he set up is him versus Seth Rollins. Mark, your thoughts.
Well, before we get up on that one, I want to talk about Edge.
Mm-hmm.
And I always look at, if you're going to work for somebody, you got to make sure he has your best interest like you got his best interest.
Correct.
And what I'm starting to see is some companies, it's all about the green. And when you got a guy like Edge and you let him go over to AEW and explore what's going on over there, you're running an idiot company. And the WWE should realize, come on, man. I saw Dolph Ziggler be thrown to the curb. I've seen this with the Dodgers, and not to switch subjects on it, but with Julio Urias having a problem with his wife, you can't reel the guy in. You're with this guy 300 times a year. He's your brother. Get some medical help in there. Get some mental health psychiatrists or whatever. Help these people that have worked their tail to be a part of you. When you throw them to the curb, the first thing I'm saying is I need to sign the dotted line, not only with my left hand, try to sign it with my right hand and my left foot and my right foot. I might have to take a training course in that, because I just don't trust these guys. And that's the problem with the society with some of these companies. And the WWE is to blame when you got a guy like Edge that is exploring possibilities over there. And you had to answer your question on that one. CM Punk and Seth Rollins would be one hell of a match.
It would be, because they have heat not only in the ring, it seems like, but outside of the ring. And then both of those styles in itself would be amazing. And I will say with Edge, and I think it goes back to what Triple H said about this situation, is that, you know, he wanted to explore AEW. There was more over there. There's more opportunities. He's done everything he needs to do with WWE. He's a Hall of Famer. Right. He's a legend. He's an icon. There's nothing for him to prove over there.
No.
So Tony Khan was going to pay him big time money, and there was possibilities of having dream matches with possibly Christian again, with some of the other competitors. Why not? What do you say, Ralph?
I agree. I'd like to see Adam Copeland take on Jon Moxley. I mean, that would be a good match. I mean, Kenny Omega maybe, or something, you know, or even Jericho's faced Adam Copeland before in the WWE.
Sure.
So it would be nice to see some of those old classic matches or something to that effect. I think that Adam Copeland's going to get a big time push in AEW, and it's nice to like put him into the fray a little bit. And you know, but AEW is still falling under that thing where they have too many wrestlers and no room for nobody. And it's sad, like Mark said, Keith Lee's of the world, Miro's still kind of going in and out. And, you know, so guys, you know, Andrade, I mean, you know, what a waste of talent there, you know. So it's just been one thing after another with some of this stuff with them. But creative at WWE and letting go Dolph Ziggler and cutting some guys that have been really loyal to the company, that's a shame. And then also, I got something for you, too. Robert Roode has been dissolved of his wrestling contract. He no longer can wrestle because of his health. So he is going to work for the WWE and security. So when they send security out with the suits, we'll see him doing it. And so that's the story I got about Robert Roode.
All right. So now, and I felt like he had some years there, wasted years
Yes.
of impact. I mean, he was a
Good on the mic,
good on
great
the
wrestler.
But if he would have made WWE, maybe he makes that type of impact like an
Yes.
AJ Styles, just waited too long. Now, this is from Booker T on the whole CM Punk situation. He said this on his podcast. People are speculating that CM Punk will be making his return to WWE at Survivor Series. You know what? For me, that's a hard one. That's a hard one to actually believe.
Chicago.
I'm normally pretty close, pretty accurate when it comes to rumors swirling around out there. And this one is something I saw, but nobody has really confirmed anything. Nobody has said WWE. People have said that they're in talks with CM Punk. I think it's just a rumor being speculated upon. Just because Survivor Series is going to be in Chicago and CM Punk is from Chicago, CM Punk showing up at Survivor Series would be an internet buzz. He also says this, but this is my question. At this point in time, right now, when everything is going so great, not just from an in-ring perspective, but an out-of-the-ring perspective as well, as far as the company is doing great, what does CM Punk add to the WWE right now at this point? What does CM Punk add to WWE? Now, let's look at it from the perspective right here. If CM Punk worked this contract in AEW and it was coming up and Punk didn't sign with AEW and WWE actually got in and got him, and boom, I think we would have had something. But CM Punk just didn't leave WWE. He got fired from WWE. He didn't just leave AEW. He got fired from AEW. What value does a person like that bring to your company? I mean, I'm just being honest here. You tell me, people. Well, you got a lot of people that's going to love it. You got a lot of fans that are going to love it. Yeah, he's got a lot of fans, but those fans actually mean nothing when it comes to the big picture. Wow, Booker T.
Wow.
Because the fans that love him didn't bump the ratings that much on AEW, where it was that much more significant than it was before he actually got there. Now, that is actually not true because he did bump the ratings of AEW.
Yes, he did.
Which is why Tony Khan brought him back. I'm wondering if this is a storyline that they are creating. But Booker T, very strong comments. Mark, your thoughts?
Well, jealousy's human nature, and I was never a big Booker T guy. I mean, I'd watch reruns of Bad News Brown tape wrestling things, and I'd watch Booker T live. I'm just not a big fan of his wrestling skills. And it knocks CM Punk. The guy brings ratings. The guy's a Stone Cold, Steve Austin. The guy's The Rock. What are you talking about? John Cena. The guy will bring ratings, and what better way not to bring him in than in Chicago, his hometown? Set this thing up, it blow the roof off. So I don't know what Booker T is drinking or smoking, but you know, he to me, it's all, you know, a big mystery of why he would take shots at a guy like that. Maybe Booker T's got to look at himself to see if he can bring ratings in any capacity.
So be fair, Booker T is a Hall of Famer. He's definitely proven himself. I think he's past his time or past his prime, if you will, of wrestling, but he feels strongly about it. And there are some genuine concerns here, Ralph, about bringing a wrestler that he's correct. You know, walked away, was fired from WWE with the lawsuit and everything like that. And then all the talk of being out of wrestling, coming back to AEW, having that incident, then getting fired because he threatened his boss. I mean, there's definitely some genuine concerns by Booker T. Are they valid?
They are valid, Peter, but you know what? If WWE doesn't sign CM Punk, shame on them. And the reason I say that is he does bring extra money to the WWE. People love CM Punk. They talk about him all the time. So, I mean, you know, why not bring him into the WWE? That helps your brand. You know, that helps your company. And I know he probably is a locker room cancer, but give him his own locker room, you know, or something. Okay. Bringing him in, I think, is a great thing. And if WWE doesn't do it, then that's their own problem. I think they are. I agree with you, Peter, that this could be a storyline. Well, they're not bringing him in. They didn't sign him. And all of a sudden he shows up. So we'll see.
Well,
yeah, this seems like more of a storyline to me, and I think it's a great storyline, and it's well done by Booker T putting it out.
Like I said, if they don't sign him, shame on him.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, they have to.
And Peter, the answer to the thing, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, but there's guys in baseball in the Hall of Fame that shouldn't be there either. I mean, Anybody can get into this thing. I think the Hall of Fame in some ways could be a popularity contest if you're with the media.
Very good point.
So when you look at that, guys don't like Bryce Harper, guys don't like Manny Machado. They have a certain swagger about them, but they play the game like Pete Rose and Kirk Gibson did. Now with Booker T, my thing with him is it never moved my needle when I saw him wrestle with Harlem Heat. That's my beef with it. CM Punk comes out there, he's got the mic skills. Booker T, I mean, he's not packing arenas like CM Punk would. If somebody's gonna see CM Punk and against John Cena or somebody like that, you're gonna sell the place and probably double a ticket value.
Oh, big
Nobody
time.
in the prime is gonna go see Booker T wrestle Cena and say, "Oh, let me pay double the price to watch that match." That's what I'm saying.
That's a fair point. All right, good stuff, guys. Final points here, Mark, here on Turnbuckle Talk.
Well, the finally, I kind of said it, and I called my shot on it. Seth Rollins walks away, beats the flamboyant one. I don't know if he had a couple bottles drinking Shinsuke Nakamura, but there was no way Nakamura was going to take the belt from him. Anybody takes these belts has to have some mic skills, in my point. Otherwise, they're just not going to carry it. And all these guys that have it, you're looking at Gunther had to get some mic skills to hold on to that Intercontinental belt. I think if you're going to carry a belt in the WWE, if you don't have a mic skill, it doesn't matter how talented you are, you're not going to get it.
All right, Ralph.
Yeah, I see. Fastlane has come and gone, and I was surprised about Io Sky. I actually thought it was going to be Asuka or Charlotte Flair. I was quite surprised. I kind of suspected that Damage Control was going to get involved in that match. Fastlane wasn't a bad pay-per-view. Seth Rollins won the match. I'm a little concerned about his back issues, and I know, and I've been told, or I've heard some reports that he's already been told to step away. John Moxley now is being told to step away too. He's had another concussion.
Wow.
So these guys, I know that they want to throw their bodies out there, and they love wrestling. If I was Seth Rollins going up against an angry Shinsuke Nakamura, I would have stayed away from Raw until it was pay-per-view time, and then I would have showed up. And then that way he could have rested his back, and he wouldn't have got beat up so bad. Sometimes these guys have more guts than brains, and sometimes they need to get their brains together and figure something out, because if it was me, I wouldn't have put my back through that issue.
Great stuff, guys. You guys killed it tonight. Mark, thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution.
I love you, brother. Congrats on the Bucs. You're making waves. You're making moves. The Yins are up there in Pittsburgh. Ralph Williams picking up steam. When you look at this, God is blessing us, man, and that's the only way. The world could be falling apart around us, but if you stay in that inner circle with some good people, good things definitely happen.
Yes, and good things are coming for the future, guys. I got some surprises up my sleeve. Just stay tuned here on Turnbuckle Talk. Mark, thanks a lot for your time. Ralph, thanks a lot for your time. With that being said, you think we want to wrap it up? Not so fast. Let's go out to Baker Mayfield today, who talked to the media, of course, preparing for the Detroit Lions in a throwback game, which you can clearly see Bucco Bruce all over the place, which you got to love, here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Here we go.
Makes this a good fit for you, and it's kind of similar to what you kind of did at Oklahoma. When did you know, like at what point were you here that kind of clicked to you, like this is going to be a really good fit for me?
Just honestly watching how they were over the years, knowing Coach Bowles and the interactions I had with him coming out of the draft, and just knowing the organization now, just knowing what the standard is, the culture, all the things that it takes a lot of hard work to have that groundwork laid, and just coming in here, and they've always said from the beginning, just be myself and be the best version, and that's what, when you allow people to be confident in that and believe that's more than enough to have success, good things will happen, and so they've been obviously really welcoming since the beginning.
You get up Oklahoma, it looked like you had one heck of a bye and going there and the picker and everything. How was that? Did that kind of like clear your head, rejuvenate you then coming back?
Yeah, it was so much fun. I mean, if you're a fan of football, College Game Day is something you watch every Saturday. Just one of those things I used to get up every Saturday and watch as a kid. And so being able to get up there and make the picks with those guys is a dream come true for me. And it was so much fun getting to go back and be around the guys. And obviously, nothing like that OU Texas game in the Cotton Bowl. So obviously a good outcome. That always helps. But, yeah, it was awesome.
We've had a lot of success in the second half. You lead the NFL right now in completion percentage. What is it about the second half of games on the line that maybe, I don't know if the focus sharpens or it's game time comes out for you?
In this league, you have to be able to adjust, and I think just as a team as a whole, we've done a good job of adjusting. You go into halftime, you have your script, you have your game plan ready to go, but the team can play you differently than you expect. So you have to be able to adjust, make adjustments at halftime, communicate with the receivers on different looks, what we're going to get to, and just be on the same page. So for us, it's doing the little things right and just staying on the same page when it comes to getting in the second half.
I know with the ground game, there's still some work to be done there, but it seemed like Rashad White did some of the dirty work against the Saints that maybe kind of went unnoticed. Just what have you seen from him? What have you learned about him as a teammate?
He's got no ego to him. I think, obviously he wants to have more success, but that time will come. So we're just continuing to press the issue that we have to be better in the run game. It's for us to have success down the road here, we have to have that. But he's patient, and I think just one of those underrated plays for him was getting him out in space, throwing that ball to him, and he made a couple guys miss down the goal line. And so it's just he's a special player with the ball in his hands, so we have to continue to find ways to do that as we get the run game going.
In New Orleans, you guys had 26 points on offense, which was a season high for you so far. Do you feel like you look at the Lions are just averaging under 30 points per game? If this game got into a shootout, has the offense improved enough and evolved enough to where you feel like you guys could go toe-to-toe and win a shootout game at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to compare us to their offense, but just for us as a whole, that was a game that, we had talked about scoring in the red zone and improving in that aspect. But just for us, it's continuing to do all the little things right, which is why we haven't had the best offensive game yet. And so continually improve as the year goes on. And so this is one of those games that we can't look at their score. We just have to continue to do our job and put up the most points possible. And they play with so much effort, so we have to match that effort and outdo it, honestly, and just do our best to execute as well.
There's only so much trust that can be built in practice, right? But when you're out there and you're able, in a game, when Mike Evans goes out and you're able to connect with Devin Tompkins on a touchdown and Kate Otten, and I know that Trey Palmer's been an asset for you guys already, but just Chris Godwin to be able to have a game, 100-yard game with him, just what can that do for kind of the growth of this offense? And I don't know, could you feel the kind of the trust growing with those guys?
Oh, absolutely. And that comes from just the reps early on in camp. It's a blessing to be able to practice here in the heat where you have to rotate guys in and everybody's getting reps. And so those guys have seen a lot of looks, but for them to translate it onto the field on a game day was extremely important for us. And so they played really well, and their roles will continue to grow as this offense goes. It's not, we design plays to get it into our best players' hands, but at the same time, we don't force the issue. The ball's going to go where the defense dictates it. And so we're just calling the plays, and Dave trusts me to go through my reads and distribute how it needs to be.
Baker, looking at the matchup against the Lions defense, they have a bit of a game record with Aiden Hutchinson. How important is it going to be to stop him or at least limit him on Sunday?
Yeah, he's one of those guys that he can ruin your day. He has that potential, and he's capable of that. So just we got to know where he is. They move him around quite a bit. They do a good job of that. But the thing that jumps out on tape, I know everybody talks about it, is his effort. He never quits. He never stops on a play. So even if you have him blocked for a second, he's going to find a way to break free. So anytime stepping up in the pocket or moving around, he's going to be chasing. There's going to be pursuit. So gotta have eyes on him at all times.
So when you look at he's got 4 interceptions in his brief NFL career. He's really good at kind of snipping out those screen passes, getting his hands up there. Is that something you have to be extra cognizant of?
Yeah, I mean, there's plays that you want to stray away from when it comes to guys like that, but he's just a good athlete. He gets paid a lot of money to make plays like that. That's why he's so talented. He got chosen that high, so he's a good player. So, like I said, got to have eyes on him.
Baker, you were named captain today, and it wasn't a vote that was taken before the season. We're into it now a little bit. What does that mean to you personally, and just can you speak to some of the guys that are also captains with you?
Yeah, it's truly an honor because you're voted by your peers on the team, and it's the highest level of respect you can have. I'll say that we have a ton of good leaders. It doesn't change anybody's leadership roles, even if you don't have a C on your chest. I know it's cliche to say, but we have a great team. We have a lot of good leaders, and that's why we're going to have success as the year goes on because we're able to lean on different guys. But there's guys that have been here for a long time that are captains. There's some new faces in there as well, but it takes all of us to contribute and steer the ship the right way.
When you're improvising out there, like things are unscripted, like that Devin Tompkins touchdown 7 seconds for that thing to develop. That normally you don't have that kind of time. Just what can you say about the O-line, the guys around you that are keeping you clean to be able to make that stuff happen?
Yeah, O-line on that play is great. Obviously protecting for as long as they can. Yeah, they had a little bit of man coverage, but a lot of droppers in between. They almost double, triple covered Chris, and then Trey was going to have a touchdown coming across, and there was collision in the end zone as well. And then just at that point, trying to make a play. I mean, looking back on the film, probably could have just stopped in the middle and thrown it to Rashad when he was standing by himself. But yeah, make things look a little bit harder, and they're a little bit more fun. But no, O-line plays great, and then I think that just shows we worked on scramble drill. We talked about staying alive. There's going to be movement, and so DT did a good job just making a great play on that one too.
Have you ever been around such a small receiver who plays so big?
No.
Stage
Tutu Atwell will probably say he does, but no, he's I love him, but no. DT, I mean, you see when he gets the ball in his hands, he never shies away from contact. He plays very big. He's so explosive, just a talented guy that his role is going to continue to get bigger.
You've been such a competitor. You will escape the pocket. You will extend plays, and occasionally at the game where the first down's on the line, you'll lower your shoulder. We've seen you do it. But are the coaches in your ear at all about, hey Baker, we need you for 17, and then some, like, just try to go down and go down of bounds? Like, I know it's in the moment, but
yeah. Dave mentioned one time after the Minnesota game, there was an unnecessary hit I took right on the sideline. But yeah, it's just about being smart. I know that. I've been there. We're taking unnecessary hits and putting yourself in harm's way. But yeah, like you mentioned, when the game's on the line, you got to do what you got to do.
Is that your game though? You like moving in and out of the pocket to kind of create things?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I want to play on time. You know, you have your plays designed, you practice it, you get them on time and out there on the practice field. But things happen in a game, and so your guys have to stay alive. O-line's got to block forever, and if they have to. And yeah, you just got to make it work somehow. It never goes perfectly as scripted on the practice plan to the game field, so you have to find ways to make it work.
Baker, when people mention the better quarterbacks in the league, you don't hear Jared Goff's name a lot in that group. What's your respect level for Goff?
Jared's a stud. Coming from somebody that needed a fresh start as well. Jared's a stud. I think he's playing really well. I think you can tell his leadership and all the things why he got chosen that high. He's truly showing that now. And so, yeah, you know, not every fit's perfect. And for him, I think his confidence continues to grow. And he's got all the tools you want. Tall guy, got a good arm, really, really smart. And so he's able to make plays. And he's, you know, the sneaky thing about his game is his play action, all his fakes and stuff. He's really, really good at that. He's almost got it down to a science. So I love his game. He's a good guy, too.
Works was saying you like to trash talk a lot, but he always, after the play's over, he said it's his job to look for you to get you out of that mess the whole time.
He's my handler. Is that what he said? Self-proclaimed handler.
I remember how he does it because he used to do that with Mike.
Yeah, he's definitely got his money's worth now because sometimes it's Luke. You know, it's definitely Luke a lot more than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, there's definitely the team aspect. We're all looking out for each other.
Like a couple more, please. The first 4 games. What do you think, looking on film now, having the bye week? What do you think personally you've improved with the most?
Taking the easy throws, easy completions early on, getting some of our skill guys going. Yeah, it's just when we started slow in the past couple games, you look at it, and then we've had a couple completions in a row to get the offense rolling. And so I think early on, trying to do that more and more, and just taking what's there. And because if we stay ahead of the chains early on in the game, we get into a rhythm. Dave's able to call the plays he wants to, and good things happen.
All right, so welcome back to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. That was Baker Mayfield. Let's go back out to the comments, and we will end it off for the night on another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Eyes right there. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Shayna Honeycombs, thank you. Proud of him. To be honest, I think there's a lot of Bucs fans that are proud of what he's been able to accomplish in the first half of this year. If you told Bucs fans, look, you got a quarterback that's coming off, his 4th, 5th team here. He's got an opportunity, and he would have 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And the big-time question was, could he settle down? And it certainly seems like, a change of scenery, especially here in Tampa, has brought him back to more comfortability, if you will, especially with the Bucs, and mentioning how it goes back to his Oklahoma days. They let him be him. That's what I get out of last week. Shayna says, damn, this guy's media trained. Absolutely. Love the hearts. Appreciate you. Yeah. Shayna with the fire like that. And Exactly. With that being said, thanks to all the guests tonight. Of course, Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, the legend himself, Leo Haggerty, former XPW announcer Mark Mancini, and of course, Ralph Williams, the bodyguard of the Berg, Pittsburgh's newest radio personality for Turnbuckle Talk. Once again, some of the breaking news of the night. Leo Haggerty is going to be credentialed for the Bucs game. So do not be surprised if he's on the sports web in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show after the game, live from Raymond James Stadium, Bucs versus the Lions, Creamsicle Week. I will be there. We'll have a show tomorrow night on Amped Up Sports on here also with Roy Cummings, some other guys here of Amped. And then, of course, Saturday, we got you covered with USF and FAU. And then, of course, Sunday, everybody's looking forward to it. Bucs versus the Lions, post-game edition, after the game, after the press conference, with your phone calls. There's nothing like it out there. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Like I Love St. Pete, all the great platforms, Bucs Life, and, of course, friend me on Facebook. If you ever want to inbox me personally when it comes down to losing somebody in your life or just chatting it up when it comes to, of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Rays, or the Tampa Bay Lightning, we got you covered here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. And, of course, stay tuned to the JP Peterson Show on Wednesday and Fridays as the schedule will change. We'll be out at the patio on Friday night from 5 to 7. Come out. You got all that. There's a quiz after. 3 things. You know them. You love them. You got to have them. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and, of course, the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. Have a great night.